everybody will hear later on about the extraordinary footballing heights that George Weah reached. Tell us something about his background.
Yeah, I mean, he started out in Cameroonian football, actually, of course, Liberian and now the current president, but he sort of made his name, if you like, in Cameroonian football, and was sold for the pricey sum of 12 grand. What a bargain that turned out to be.
Well, first of all, let me just say we would be neglecting our duty if we didn't mention that his first club, Bong Range United, well done Bong Range, then he played for mighty Barole, then the Invincible 11, Arsenal want to get that shirt made, don't they? Africa Sports and Tonnerre Yaoundé, and it's from Tonnerre, as a young man, that he gets transferred to France.
Yes, in 1988, and it was a struggle. I think it's fair to say those first 6 months in Monaco, there wouldn't have been many punters ready to bet anything that he would go on to win a Ballon d'Or in time, Danny. He was a nobody, really. He was trying to make a name for himself at Monaco. He was becoming frustrated as well. One man kept faith in George Weah and has become probably the most influential person, certainly in his football career, but I think has extended even beyond that. That man, Arsene Wenger, of course, that they came together.
Who's he?
Yes, yeah. Wonder whatever happened to him. But it was Arsene Wenger, really, Danny, that set George Weah on the path to greatness, and Weah actually said, besides God, I think that without Arsene there was no way I would have made it in Europe. He was a father figure and regarded me as his son. This was a man, when racism was at its peak, who showed me love. He wanted me to be on the pitch for him every day.
I mean, I already know that Arsene Wenger is a great man and a great human being. When you hear things like that, it almost brings a tear to your eye. Two things I want to say. We should try and... I mean, it's incredible because although for people, you're much younger than me, but 1988, people forget what the world was like. So I've got to ask you, we now accept players arriving from Africa, just fully formed and people just had no problem with it. We need to talk about, he has very few role models to live up to, George Weah.
Well, I mean, I think most people remember maybe Cameroon, Italia 90 would be a good example of this team that were mocked in some parts, laughed at, also loved. But, there was, I suppose, it was kind of football played behind a curtain, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We didn't know, well, I'd say half as much. I mean, we knew next to nothing.
We didn't see
on a regular
the Cup
basis.
of Nations on the television.
No, absolutely
Their
not.
clubs didn't play, obviously, in the big competitions that we knew about. So they would emerge out into the World Cups. And as you say, the Cameroonian team, you say they were laughed at. I wouldn't laugh at their defenders in any hurry.
No. Claudio Caniggia certainly didn't.
So that was a thing that he had to overcome. And secondly, and you're not going to believe it, this, Mark, there'll be people listening to our voices, teenagers, kids still doing their whatever their exams are called these days, who won't know what kind of player George Weah was. Just give us a flavour of that.
I suppose he was the ultimate sort of all-round striker in terms of he could hold the ball up as well, and that's kind of that cliche sort of power you would expect of a number 9, but there was much more to his game. The dribbling ability, I think, maybe set him apart from kind of, particularly back then, what a centre forward was kind of seen as the typical centre forward, I suppose, a Mark Haitley type, or
Luca Toni. We know these sort of players.
Exactly. But George Weah had a dribbling ability that almost made him like a winger in that respect. And I mean, there's one goal, a very famous goal that I'm sure we'll come to later on during his time at Milan. But when he scored against Verona, and he just dribbles the whole length of the pitch and scores the goal. So that was his style of play, really. I suppose unconventional, because it wasn't the done thing really for a number 9 to play in that manner.
So under Arsene Wenger at Monaco, he is treated properly. He does get a chance to develop, and of course he becomes a fantastic player, because even allowing for the slow start that you described earlier in the show, he becomes a 1-in-2 striker. Admittedly, in a French league that wasn't quite as strong as it is now, but it's still a pretty good league.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to disagree with you there, Danny. Actually,
not for the first time, Mark.
No. I mean, if you think back to that Marseille team around that era that was reaching European Cup finals,
I assume they bought all those matches, Mark.
Oh well, yeah, some of them, but they were still there was a lot of money in French football.
There were some they didn't have to buy.
Yeah, well, there was. I mean, if you think back to Glenn Hoddle, Chris Waddle, players like that would actually leave the English top division
for Monaco,
and Marseille. Marseille respectively. There was a lot of money in French football. There was a lot of quality in French football, and actually, I think the depth was there.
They were world champions at the time. Some soon to be world champions.
Yeah, they were, and also, like I said, I mean, Paris Saint-Germain didn't have the money that they've got now, but they were still, and George Weah goes there from Monaco. They were a team that were knocking on the door of European success as well. So I actually think the league was strong, and in terms of honours, maybe Weah didn't get enough of that at Monaco, because he only won the one trophy, which was the 1991 French Cup. No jokes about Arsene Wenger and a lack of trophies there. They did reach the final of the Cup Winners' Cup in 1992. Lost it, and I think a little bit disappointingly, to Werder Bremen. And maybe that would have been like the crowning glory for Weah's time at Monaco, because from where he started in 1998 to where he finished when he left in 1992, I mean, the development of the player and the man, was almost complete.
I mean, I don't know if you know this, but we now know that he is a proper leader of people. He's, as you say, he's head of state in his own country. Was there any signs of this when he was young, or was he had to deal with so much of, just being a professional footballer that you couldn't see this?
No, I don't think in terms of being a political ambassador. I think that came later, because you mentioned there about the lack of role models. He became the role model for other African players, particularly I think once he went to Paris Saint-Germain, and then to Milan was, and Italian football at that time was the absolute peak of European and world football. And I think once he goes on to that success, he becomes the role model, and I think that's where the responsibility he feels. And actually, in terms of some of the other players, they don't actually like to take that on board, that responsibility, and don't like to be role models. They just want to look after their own game. I think George Weah is very different in that regard.
So under Wenger at Monaco, they lose the 92 Cup Winners' Cup final to Werder Bremen, and he's sold on, as you say. And this is a huge move, really, because although they're not the superpower they are now, Paris Saint-Germain will be seen as an important move for him.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons is that the success he has with Paris Saint-Germain, and no spoilers here, Danny, they are nearly men in Europe. I don't know if anything's changed in the next 20 odd years.
Yeah, they're more highly paid nearly men.
Yes, they are. But in terms of Paris Saint-Germain, of course, this was a relatively new club that was only formed in 1970 and hadn't had that much success when George Weah went there in the early 90s. And actually, the success that he had, a couple of French Cups, a League Cup and a league title, was a big deal for Paris. Now we expect them to win.
Who's in that team with him? Can you tell me?
A left winger by the name of David Ginola, who certainly helps out.
It's quite a lot of physique in one forward line, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I mean, obviously, Ginola got bombed out in the in terms of French football
after the disaster against Bulgaria. Yeah.
Exactly, and Paul Le Guen, a manager that's maybe remembered fondly in some places,
less
and then
so
not,
in others,
and
yeah.
less so in others. I think it's fair to say, but it wasn't an all-star team that this Paris Saint-Germain won. I mean, there were more expensively assembled ones elsewhere, and Marseille would be, one of those that certainly had a lot of top talent in it. But he became the focal point of that attack, and I think that it was the quality that he showed in those latter years at Paris Saint-Germain that then earns him the move to Serie A, which at the time was just a legendary status. It was the All-Star League.
I mean, you could literally say that if you joined AC Milan around that time, in the mid-90s up to the sort of millennium, you were a world superstar. And it is his arrival as a world superstar at Milan, at Chelsea, and latterly at Manchester City. We'll talk about next here on the Trans-Europe Express.
Euro Game Day Live, delivered by TalkSport 2 with Burger King, official providers of food fulfillment. That warm, fuzzy feeling of total food satisfaction. Order your Burger King delivery now.
This Euros, The Sun is bringing you all the gossip, goals and giants of the game. Get insights and analysis from Harry, should have been England manager, Redknapp, Jack, the maestro, Wilshere, Gordon, no nonsense, Strachan, and Jurgen, the winner, Klinsmann. You won't want to miss it. Don't miss out, only in The Sun.
Well, you can see why people are talking about Asda, can't you?
Of course, on paper, Asda have a great lineup with 2 for £20 on packs of beer like Peroni. Then there's party wear from £1, the midfield trio of bunting, face paint and flags.
And don't forget the dependable 2 for £7 on Coke 8 packs could be the difference maker. What a lineup!
Get match ready at Asda with beer and decorations on offer until the 14th of July. Asda, that's more like it. Selected stores online subject to availability. Beer packs 10 times 330ml each. Not available in Scotland. Coke 330ml, £4.25 each. May exclude express in small stores. See asda.com/small stores.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. On the beach, on the beach, on the beach.
Booking geniuses. Choose from thousands of amazing all-inclusive holidays with On the Beach. Go all in on all-inclusive. Leave the bank cards at home, but not your trunks. On the Beach. Book like a genius. Holiday like a fool.
ATO protected.
On the beach.
This tournament, prepare for greatness with William Hill. Get ready for last-minute winners, legendary goals, and straight red cards. Oh, what was he thinking? Win 50% more on every Scotland game this tournament with Bet Builder Extra, online or in the app. Only from William Hill. Available day before match to kick-off. Bet Builders are 3+ selections at 3-1 or more. Pre-match singles, match stake £20. Full T's and C's apply. 18+, begambleaware.org.
Roll out of bed. Put the kettle on. Get into serious altercation with your 3-year-old. Try logical reasoning. Fail. Become the voice of Mr. Snuggles. Negotiate your way out of a tantrum and become the greatest parent of all time. For less.
Selected IKEA soft toys are now at a new lower price, along with thousands of other products. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
Let's go live to hear about that winning goal.
The crowd's gone absolutely wild here. How on earth do you sum up your emotions right now?
Amazing. A hat-trick is just the best feeling ever.
Is it though? Is kicking a ball into the back of the net really better than food fulfillment from Burger King? That warm, fuzzy feeling of total food satisfaction, like finishing the last bite of a Gourmet King's Barbecue Steakhouse Angus.
No.
Correct. Burger King. That's food fulfillment.
It's the event we've all been waiting for. The 30-metre vacuum is on. He's really ramping up the power. Straight around the first corner, overtaking Pepper. Oh no! He's hit a hurdle. It must be a coin. Great recovery, and now he's on the home straight. This could be a personal best, and he's done it. Incredible scenes. He really has cleaned up.
British Gas, powering home fans during this summer of sport.
Euro Game Day Live on TalkSport 2 with Carling, the UK's #1 lager. 18+, always drink responsibly.
TalkSport 2.
24 teams, 10 host cities, 1 glittering prize.
Pump up your summer.
Euro Game Day Live
on TalkSport 2.
Treffers.
Good afternoon from Nigel Adderley and Scott Minto as the TalkSport Network's coverage of UEFA Euro 2024 continues. Every team has now played, and we start the second round of group games in Hamburg with both Croatia and Albania looking to bounce back.
Look at this Croatia team, the success that we've had since 2018, but I think everyone wants to see Croatia get that result we all want.
Neither can afford an opening day defeat. Yamal with a cross swept in towards the near post, and it's the third goal for Spain.
And before, when I've watched Croatia, they've always been so super strong at the back, but today that back four didn't look anywhere near good enough.
This is some task for this Albanian team, put in a group with Spain, Croatia and the Italians.
And with 23 seconds played, Albania have the lead. What an incredible start.
This is a difficult group, but Albania will not be whipping boys here.
It's a winning start for Italy. They have come back to see off the challenge of a brave Albania. So both these teams in Group B looking for their first points at UEFA Euro 2024. And on a sunny day in Hamburg, Croatia know they could be out by the end of this evening, depending on what happens here, and the match involving Italy and Spain over on TalkSport later on. So it's a big day for the golden oldies, the so-called golden generation of Croatia, and Albania as well, of course, in only their second major tournament, played well against Italy in defeat. But both these teams know victory is imperative here today, with the Italians and the Spanish elsewhere in this group. Here is the team news. 3 changes for Croatia from that 3-0 loss to Spain in Berlin. Josip Stanisic, Marin Pograkic and Ante Budimir all dropped to the bench. Ivan Perisic, Bruno Petkovic, who came on and missed a penalty on Saturday, and Josip Juranovic all come into the team. So it's Livakovic in goal, Juranovic, Sutalo, Gvardiol and Perisic the back four. Gvardiol moving back into the middle to accommodate the former Tottenham veteran. Modric, Brozovic and Kovacic in midfield. Maya, Petkovic and Kramaric in attack. Two changes for Albania. Chelsea's Armando Broja and Tolan Seferi dropped to the bench. Broja on a yellow card following the game on Saturday night. And Ray Manai, who had a great late chance to equalise off the bench against Italy, he starts today along with Quasim Laci. It is Strakosha in goal, Husey, Jimsiti, Ayeti and Mitai the back four, Aslani, Ramadani and Laci in midfield, Asani, Manai and Barami, who scored the quickest ever goal in European Championship history against the Italians. That is the Albanian attack. Scott Minto, good afternoon. It's a fascinating game because both teams know they have to win.
Absolutely, Nige. Good afternoon everybody. And because of what happened in match day one, absolutely the pressure's on both these sides. And certainly Croatia, after the disappointing first half performance they put in against Spain, where the game was pretty much over at half time, there's no doubt about it, they'll be expecting a much better one this time around. And especially, of course, against what is the supposed whipping boys of the group. And yet we saw against Italy, this is not a bad side under Slovenia at all. Got off to the greatest start. Perhaps just panicked a little bit and just sat back and let Italy take control. And fair play to Italy for the way they did that. The second half, though, they stayed in the game, didn't they? And very nearly got the equaliser. So I think there was definitely positives to take from that game. But I think because of what happened in match day one, both teams need to go on the attack. Not necessarily right from the start, but both teams need, or could do with 3 points, certainly Croatia.
Both teams gathering in the tunnel on a perfect day for football in Hamburg. Not too warm, blue skies and bright sunshine overhead. And we have full commentary coming up here on TalkSport 2. It's a big day with Scotland in action later on as well. A must-win game for them, you feel, against Switzerland. And ahead of kick-off here, let's get an odds update with William Hill.
In the Zone on TalkSport 2 with William Hill. Prepare for greatness with William Hill. 18+, gambleaware.org.
And joining us now is Alex Dunn. And Alex, of course, must-win for both these teams. So are we anticipating plenty of goals?
Let's hope so. It's priced up as though Croatia are, well, not quite good things, but they're short price favourites at 9-20. The draw is 100-30. Albania are 8-1. If you want to take advantage of our 2-up concession, Croatia 7-20 in that market and Albania 13-2. That means if your team goes 2 goals up, you will be paid out as a winner no matter what the final score is. A couple of enhancements to draw your attention to as well. Luka Modric to score at any time is now 5-1. Out from 7-2. And one that I do quite like, because I think Albania are a little overpriced. Albania to score in both halves. Again, doesn't matter what the final score is. If Albania score in both halves, that's a winner. That's now 10-1, which looks pretty good to me. I put a bet builder together as well. You can get your 25% boost on this. Over 4.5 cards in the match, over 1.5 goals. And Josko Gvardiol, who was in great form at the end of the season for Manchester City, to have over 1 shot in the match. That would have landed in that opening game against Spain. That is now 6.87-1 with your boost. I think it'll be feisty. I think it'll be entertaining. I think it'll be a really good watch.
Thanks to Alex Dunn. The latest from William Hill. Please gamble responsibly. 18+, begambleaware.org.
In the Zone on TalkSport 2 with William Hill. Prepare for greatness with William Hill. 18+, gambleaware.org.
The team's imminent in Hamburg, so let's look ahead to the action thanks to Burger King.
Big match preview on TalkSport 2 with Burger King. Bring home the ultimate food satisfaction. Get your favourites delivered now.
And Scott Minto, we've been waiting for about 10 years for Albania to look tired, and maybe they did on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. I think just what happened and how well Italy played when they went a goal down. They didn't panic at all, and it reminded me a little bit, unfortunately, of the actual final itself 3 years ago, where Italy went, conceded that early goal, and yet just said, okay, we know what we're going to do. We're going to keep passing it. We're going to tire you out. They certainly did that against England, although it did go to penalties there. But I think even just the fact that they 2-1 up at half-time. I feel they could have gone and maybe got a third and perhaps didn't want to, and almost went the old-school Italian to try and sit back and keep it at 2-1.
And it nearly cost them.
It was risky. It really was. It nearly cost them, and Albania had that chance. And for many neutrals, it's a shame they didn't go on and score. But now, I think that would have given them a lot of confidence, though. They've only lost 2-1, and you've made the comment about finishing third. I think it's important, if you are going to lose, you don't lose big, because then goal difference can come into it. So look, they're taking a lot of confidence. They feel they know exactly how they can play in these type of situations in tournament football, in the Euros. But they are up against a wily old side in Croatia. So what type of Croatia are we going to see? The sort of tired looking one in the first half in Spain, or the ones we've seen in previous tournaments where they've gone very deep into them?
And that was a look ahead to the action in association with Burger King.
Big Match Review on TalkSport 2 with Burger King. Bring home the ultimate food satisfaction. Get your favourites delivered now.
And it's a big day at Euro 2024. All the action covered on the TalkSport network. Following this game here over on TalkSport at 5 o'clock, it is Germany against Hungary with Natalie Sawyer, Ian Danta and Darren Bent. And then at 8 o'clock, Scotland against Switzerland. Scotland simply can't afford to lose that game, with Hugh Wozencroft, Joe Shannon and Chris Owalamo your team, as the two sides here emerge into the sunshine in this wonderful stadium, the Volkspark Stadion in Hamburg. It is a sellout every single week in the German second division when Hamburg play here. And it's a similar story here today, with the Albanians and the Croatian supporters arriving in great numbers. And they know this could be the day when their team finally arrive at the Euros. Although in Albania's case, if things don't go well, they could end up going home. The full game coming up on TalkSport 2 following the national anthems. Well, the two anthems were tremendous. Whatever happens on the field here today in Hamburg, a reminder of the two teams once again. Croatia, Livakovic in goal, Juranovic, Sotalo, Gvardiol and Perisic the back four. Modric, Brozovic and Kovacic in midfield. Maja, Petkovic and Kramaric in attack. For Albania, Strakosha in goal, Husey, Jimsiti, Ayeti and Mitai the back four. Aslani, Ramadani and Lachi in midfield. Asani, Manai and Barami in attack. And Scott Minto, of course, 3-0 defeat for Croatia. We've spoken about that, but you look at the actual stats of the game. 16 attempts on goal. Of course, they missed a penalty in the match as well. So I'm not saying that Spain were flattered by the scoreline because they scored the goals, but Croatia will take something from it.
No, absolutely. They weren't as bad as a lot of people are saying, or certainly as the scoreline suggests. But the bottom line is, Spain were clinical and Croatia weren't. And if you are going to, qualify and go deep into competitions, look, we know that Croatia don't always beat teams. They can take teams right to the very end, certainly in the knockout stages, and find a way in on penalties. But look, it needs to be winning this game. If they are going to be qualifying, if they are going to try and make some kind of statement, which again, I'm not necessarily all about, you have to make a massive statement in the group stages, but you do want to start building momentum. The first game's out the way, it wasn't good. In fact, it probably couldn't have got any worse in terms of the scoreline. So let's make sure that we take some of the positives we had from that match into this. But as I say, the bottom line is they have to be clinical. You win and lose games in both boxes. They weren't good enough defensively. They were too open, certainly with the first and the second goals as well. But even going forward, you have to find a way to get on the score sheet.
Luka Modric is going around all of his teammates. A final word of encouragement from the captain. His 177th appearance for his country here today at the age of 38, his 9th major tournament. But if Croatia lose here today, it could be the end of the road for him and his nation after such an era of relative success. No doubt this is a massive game in Hamburg today. Both teams know defeat is unthinkable if they wish to make progress at UEFA Euro 2024. Francois Le Texier of France is our referee. A blast on the whistle from him. And a big day at the Euros is underway on the TalkSport network, with Albania wearing all black, looking to attack the goal away to our left in the first half. It's played forward by Jimsiti into the path of Asani. And now Mitai. Of course, Albania scored within 23 seconds against the Italians. They haven't done that here today, but it was another positive start from them.
They've made a really slow start. They haven't scored yet, Nige. No, absolutely. They're the team, actually, that's got on the ball. And Croatia, so far, actually can't get close to them. So I think it shows they want to start on the front foot.
And they're coming forward now with Barami, who scored the goal against Italy. A low cross in from him down the left-hand side is cut out at the near post, but Croatia give up possession very cheaply, and Zlatko Dalic, their coach, is already out on the edge of his technical area. Of course, it's a big day for him as well. They've reached the business end of tournaments under his charge, but he's not entirely popular amongst the Croatian footballing public, and the defeat today could really see him under pressure as Albania knock it long again up towards the edge of the penalty area. Now Modric, though, wins it back, jabs it forward, but it's quickly cut out on the far side, and it's played forward by Ayeti, but it is a frenetic start with 90 seconds played, and now there's an opportunity for Modric to get on the ball and try and bring some calmness, but the atmosphere is absolutely sulphurous. Two passionate sets of supporters have packed out the Volkspark Stadium in Hamburg, and as you can hear, the noise unrelenting in the opening moments.
Yeah, it's an incredible atmosphere. It really is, on a perfect day for football as well in Hamburg. And look, like a tournament, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. The same with a football match. There are lots and ups and downs, and which way it's going to go. There's no doubt about it. Albania have tried to start on the front foot, and just in the last 20-30 seconds, Croatia now trying to get on the ball. and see if they can play the game at their tempo. It's very important for Albania's point of view to really high press, play with high intensity, and we talked about the experience of the midfield, but also the age as well. Certainly more so Luka Modric than Brozovic and Kovacic, who, despite all the caps they've got, are 31 and 30 respectively, so it's not as if they're over the hill or anything. But there's no doubt about it, Albania want to play at a really high pace and make sure Croatia can't live without.
Jim Siti goes back towards Brentford's Thomas Strakosha, the Albanian goalkeeper, away to our right. It's held up well though by Manaj, and now an opportunity for Croatia to come forward again with Barami into the penalty area, left hand side. Began in midfield against Italy, but a more advanced role for him today in the absence of Seferi, who was on the bench. Forward towards Manaj again, who tries to wriggle through on the edge of the penalty area, gets the shot in, claims he was being held back, but the referee disagrees and Croatia will clear downfield. But at the moment, Albania are pressing really high with and without the ball.
Absolutely, they're the team that have started much more confidently, and it was a really good through ball into Manaj. The battle between him and Guardiola as well, and in the end, Manaj just wasn't quite able to get that shot off. What I do find interesting in terms of team selection is even Perisic coming in at left back, 35 years young, should we say, and certainly got a lot of experience himself, but Guardiola coming into centre back. Look, he's obviously done a great job for Manchester City at left back, but with all due respect to Croatia, they ain't no Manchester City, so get him, your important player, as a centre half, and the spine of the team is so important.
4 minutes played, 0-0. Ramadani is just being clipped in midfield, and Albania will have a free kick 10 yards inside the Croatian half on the right. And this ground holds just over 50,000 for international games, and there is not a seat to be had on a Wednesday afternoon today, as a high ball is played forward towards the edge of the penalty area from the free kick, and it's guided back at the far post by Juranovic and claimed by Dominik Livakovic.
Yeah, they've just got to try and slow the game down a little bit, Croatia. Albania have started well. It's an incredible atmosphere. Got to repeat again, it really is fantastic in the stadium. So they're buoyed on, the Albanians, and Croatia have to play at their pace, not Albania's.
Juranovic coming forward now on this near side. The Croatian right tries to deliver the cross in, but it's deflected behind by Barami, and Croatia have the first corner of the game with nearly 5 minutes played. On TalkSport 2 in Group B at Euro 2024, Croatia will be out if they lose this game, and there is a draw or an Italian win in the match between Spain and Italy, and that kicks off tomorrow as the ball is played into the penalty area for Maya. Maya finding Juranovic on the overlap, a low ball into the penalty area, and it's cleared away at the near post, but Croatia will win it back with Brozovic. Wide towards the fair-haired Lovro Maya again on this near side, chops back onto his left foot, and now Brozovic. And a couple of massive games coming up tomorrow, of course. England against Denmark, that's at 5 o'clock, and it's Italy against Spain at 8 o'clock. Now Brozovic again in the sunshine on this near side, wide towards Maya down the Croatian right. He comes in field, and he's really forced in field by Barami, but it's wide towards Modric, looking to pull the strings in the wider area. And now Maya will go square to Kovacic, and Albania have every single player back behind the ball midway inside their own half. They love the counter-attacking style, and they do have pace on the counter-attack if they get the opportunity, and that could be the danger for Croatia. But now Juranovic with the cross into the penalty area, and it's cleared away by Ajeti on the half volley at the near post, and it will be a throw into Croatia on this near side.
Yeah, the game's going now how we thought it would from the start, sort of Croatia having the possession, Albania just sitting back, defending deep, and they're looking to try and nick it and then go quickly on the counter. But very important if they can to try and keep up the intensity they started in the first 3 or 4 minutes and make sure that Croatia tire out over the whole 90.
7 minutes play, Croatia 0, Albania 0 on TalkSport 2 in Group B. Croatia losing 3-0 to Spain on Saturday, Albania scoring first, but they were then beaten by the Italians 2-1. Perisic takes the ball down on his chest, down the left-hand side, up towards the corner of the penalty area. He gives the ball away initially to Asani, and now an opportunity for Lacci to possibly lead the counter-attack, but he's given the ball up to Kovacic, and now an opportunity for Lovro Mayer inside the penalty area. The cross-in was aimed towards Kramaric, but Lacci does well to win it back from Petkovic deep inside the Albanian penalty area and hammer it long downfield.
Yeah, just a bit of a missed opportunity there. Mayer's come in off the right wing, and his first touch needed to be better.
And Croatia now get a free kick. Ajeti claiming that Petkovic dived midway inside the Albanian half, but a free kick's been given. And, well, there was contact, but it was minimal, but it gave Petkovic the opportunity to go down.
You're a big centre-half back in the day, weren't you, Nige?
No, I was an appalling left-back back in the day.
So was I.
No.
No, but I think he's given enough contact there to suggest, certainly as you say, for Petkovic to go down, and it's a dangerous opportunity now.
Croatia play Italy in their final game. Albania meets Spain, which is why today is must-win for both. Modric over the free kick, drifted high towards the far post, headed away by Mitai. And now Albania will try and switch wide to the near side, taken down well by Barami, and he breezes beyond the challenge of Brozovic, all on his own, deep into the Croatian half, down the Albanian left, and Juranovic will eventually win it back as Croatia outnumbered the lone Albanian attacker.
It's going to be a good battle down that left-hand side though, isn't it? Barami showing pace and confidence as well. Juranovic defended very well, but that was certainly helped by another teammate. So if he gets a one-on-one, Barami, that's going to be a really interesting situation.
Kovacic now down the left-hand side, does have support from Perisic, and now Modric with a dart into the penalty area. First time ball delivered in, but it takes a deflection of Hussein, and Albania will regather midway inside their own half, and they look to the left again. And Barami, the more natural pace is on the right with Yasir Asani, as Aslani goes back towards Ajeti once again, and Aslani had a really good impact with Inter on the way to the Serie A title success, having joined them in January. And there are 10 Italian-based players in this Albanian team, so they are far from unknowns despite their lack of pedigree in international football in recent years. As a high ball is swirled into the penalty area, and it's hammered up in the air by Sotalo, and it's gathered now by Manai at the far post on the left. Barami infield again towards Mitai. Manai finding Ramadani, and there's the first opportunity for Asani to attack. He loves to come in field and clip the ball in left-footed, and he does here, and it's headed in by Lacci, and Albania have the lead. Quasim Lacci with the near post header. A terrible error by Lovakovic. He allowed the ball to squirm under his body, and yet again Albanian fans are jubilant in the early stages. It is Croatia 0, Albania 1, and are the golden generation about to go home early.
Well, the Albanian fans had to wait, maybe 10 minutes and 23 seconds this time, but they got the first goal. How will they react? But in terms of the goal itself, the ball's out wide on the right-hand side. Asani comes in on his left foot, and he looks up. It's a wonderful cross. It's a really good run, you have to say, from Lacci. No one's close to him. He's found space in between two defenders. He's made sure he's got enough of a touch on it, used the pace of the cross. And you're right, Lovakovic will be disappointed that he hasn't saved that, but he's gone right down and almost, he's having to dive to his left. The ball's bouncing, so he's gone the furthest he's had to do to try and save that. It's a wonderful header. It's a wonderful start from Albania.
Quasim Lacci, brought into the side today, has justified his inclusion. Yet another early goal at these European Championships, and it's another early goal from Albania. Silvino jubilant in the technical area. But so often we see Asani come in field and he lashes balls in from long range, but it was a clever ball dinked into the near post, and nobody picked up Quasim Lacci.
Well, you mentioned him, didn't you, when Barami was going down the left-hand side, about Asani with that pace. I think Croatia knew that. There was about 3 players around him, so It was very clever of him to come inside on his left foot, not try and use his pace and go down the outside. He looked up, but it still takes a wonderful run from Laci. He wasn't picked up. Really good header in the end. Wow, we have a game on our hands.
Croatia 0, Albania 1. 12 minutes played on TalkSport 2. And you can hear the Albanian voices all around the Volkspark Stadium at the moment. And Croatia here simply have to respond. Italy didn't panic on Saturday in their opening game. Of course, everyone was shocked by the quickest ever goal in the tournament. But this Croatian side, without real pace in their team, will now have to try and break down a side who have something to hold on to.
Absolutely. And I think the Albanians would have learnt by what happened in that game against Italy. Not just sit back and let Croatia have the ball. I thought Italy was superb the way they didn't just keep the ball, but they really tried to keep passing forward. And I think that's what Croatia have to do. Do they have the capability? Yes. But can they do it after what was a poor first game? We shall wait and see.
Well, Croatia have never lost in the second round of group games at a European Championship, but they've drawn the last three, and maybe they would take a point at the moment. Here is Asani on the counter-attack. Manai is in space on this near side, and Asani has been pulled down by Gvardiol. And I just wonder if Gvardiol was the player who lost Laci. It was on his side.
Well, it was. I mean, he's got to be able to see the run. No one's run with Laci, I have to say, from midfield. And that's something you talk about. Modric, Brozovic and Kovacic. Fantastic players, of course they are, but going back the other way, no one went with Laci. So therefore the centre-half still have to see that run. They didn't. And the fact that Laci just got in between the two defenders, really clever play, a great ball from Asani, and just then from Asani as well. You know, he's taken the pressure off his team after just 30 seconds where the defence has been under pressure.
And now Albania coming forward again. It's lofted wide to Barami on this near side, takes it down on his chest. He can attack the penalty area, comes in field, goes for goal, and he drags the effort wide of the right foot. There's a look of frustration and a grimace from him because he knows it opened up there for him. It was a really good opportunity.
Well, he's fancying his chances, isn't he? Definitely on both wings they are. As I say, I think it's really important that they would have learned from that game against Italy, not just to sit back. And almost panicked a little bit, didn't they? Blimey, we're 1-0 up, what do we do now? Keep a clean sheet and we're going to win this game. Well, it's a long 90 minutes if you do that.
And it took a deflection on the way through. It will be a corner to Albania. 15 minutes played, already a goal up. Aslani will take the corner. It's an in-swinger towards the near post, headed away. Volley back in on the edge of the penalty area by Hussein. It's blocked, then he hooks it forward, but one or two Albanian players knew they were offside. It was overhit anyway, and it will be a goal kick. 15 minutes played, Croatia 0, Albania 1. You're listening to Euro Game Day Live on TalkSport 2, presented by Carling, the UK's #1 lager, 18 plus. Please drink responsibly. And the goal was scored at the end of the stadium where all of the Albanian fans are massed, and they are jubilant at the moment as they come forward again. Aslani, well, was he taken down on the edge or possibly inside the penalty area? There was certainly a high boot there by Satalo. A free kick's been given to Albania further down the field, and Francois Letexier is waved away in the appeals.
Well, I'd like to see that again, because I think if that's happened anywhere else on the pitch, that's probably a foul given for a high boot. Now, from a defensive point of view, I think he has to be able to go for it. But absolutely that could easily have been given, and it was inside the box. I think that's the only reason why the referee didn't give it. It would have been a very controversial decision, but again, if that's going to be a foul anywhere else on the pitch, then surely it's a foul inside the box.
And we've now had 15 goals in the opening half hour of games at the European Championships, and this is the 13th game.
Can I reiterate though, I don't think that should have been given as a foul. No. The defender has to be able to go for that,
we've seen
even if it is a high kick.
We've seen them given in this tournament.
Absolutely.
Juranovic with a long throw for Croatia towards the edge of the Albanian penalty area, but it's cleared away and headed forward up towards the halfway line by Barami. Another Albanian goes down, no free kick given, but it's hoofed by Ajeti up towards the halfway line, where it's gathered by Josko Gvardiol. And Croatia here have a long time to reset themselves in this game. But there is scoreboard pressure on them for the second successive match. Luka Modric in his 9th major tournament flicks the ball between his legs to pick out Lovro Majer, and then plays it back towards Majer again. Juranovic providing the width down the right. Majer turns away to the left, and it's driven behind Perisic, who has to turn and open out those aging legs once again to keep the ball in play. And Gvardiol will now come forward for Croatia, and a free kick's been given to the Croatians for a pullback by Asani on Gvardiol.
Well, they're working hard, aren't they? We know they're very fit, this Albania side. And we also know that Gvardiol may well be starting as a centre-half, but he's used to getting forward now for club and country. And he'll look to try and do that, especially with his side being 1-0 down. And again, it's an interesting position.
High cross into the penalty area from the free kick, but Albania will be happy to see those all day.
Get it in the box, that wasn't good enough. It's a poor ball in. And when you're in those situations, they've got height, Croatia. If the ball's right, even if they can't quite get onto it, from a defending point of view, you do not want to be running towards your own goal.
Perisic with a long throw, flicked on at the near post, but headed away by Mitai, controlled by the goal scorer Laci, by the corner flag on the far side. He's able to turn and play it forward, looking for Manai, but it's quickly won back by Modric for Croatia. Nearly 19 minutes played on TalkSport 2. Croatia 0, Albania 1. Perisic now with a cross into the penalty area. Jimsiti dives in to head the ball away. Asani then challenging Perisic on the far side, and Croatia will have a throw-in. There's a real pace and tempo to the game at the moment. Croatia chasing it. Modric clips it forward towards Juranovic inside the penalty area. Good leap though by Jimsiti to clear, and Albania will try and break now. Cute ball from Asani wide to this near side, and Barami will try and break in behind the challenge of Satalo, who recovered well, dived in from behind but won the ball cleanly to guide it back to Livakovic. Now an Albanian mistake at the other end. Kramaric comes forward down the left. Pekovic waits inside the penalty area. Pulled back to Kovacic with a right-footed shot. Blocked, but it breaks into the path of Kramaric again. Left-hand side of the box, back towards Kovacic now, who comes square. Support from Brozovic, right foot shot from him between a forest of legs and all the way through for a goal kick.
What a game we have in our hands here. We said that just before kick-off, but I still think the game probably needed a goal, and the fact it's come from Albania means that Croatia have already tried to step it up, but it also means that the counter-attack and the pace of Albania, they really believe they can go on and get that second goal. It's end-to-end at the moment. Brilliant game to watch. Great atmosphere.
Albania 66th in the world, but they have not played like a team so low in the rankings, and of course they qualified brilliantly. They didn't concede a goal at home. They finished above both the Czech Republic and Poland, and they deserve to be here. There were no playoffs for them. They won their group comfortably.
Fully deserve it, and you can see why, how they're playing.
But here is Majer for Croatia now in a central area. Pokes it wide to Kramaric. 33rd birthday for him today. Down the line for Perisic on the overlap with the cross in. Playing well by Strakosha at the near post.
At times though, Albania need to try and manage the game. They can't just rely on their pace and go almost end to end. To be fair to them, when Croatia don't play the ball quickly, they get back into position very, very quickly indeed, and then it's difficult for Croatia to break them down. 21 minutes have flown by.
And now Manai has been penalised for a challenge on Satalo on this near side as Silvino barks out instructions on the edge of the Albanian technical area. Midway inside the Albanian half, Croatia try and build again with Juranovic. Wide to Modric on the right. He looks to find Juranovic with a reverse ball, but Baramia come back to help out his fullback, and now Albania can keep it simple and clear again, but it will come straight back. Manai looking rather isolated at times if Barami and Asadi don't get close to him. Brozovic now wide towards this near side, and Juranovic. And once again the pace of the game has dropped for a moment as Croatia try and build, but it's given time for Albania to reset themselves, and as a result Croatia have given the ball away. It was initially robbed by Barami, and now Asani in midfield goes back towards the captain Jim Siti, who had such a good season at the heart of the back four for the Europa League winners Atalanta. And now Aslani again. He did have support on his outside from Ramadani, but it's a crossfield ball swept into the shadows on the far side for Hussein, who is the one ever present in terms of games in major championships for Albania. He was part of the squad in 2016, which picked up a victory but went out in the group stage. And now a nutmeg from Barami on this near side on Juranovic, but it falls kindly for Modric, and Croatia will try and come forward now with Josip Juranovic once again. His Union Berlin team survived in Germany on goal difference this season, so they won't be playing in this stadium against Hamburg next season. Now Meyer again, wide towards the far side, and Perisic, who has gone home to join Hajduk Split after being released by Tottenham in the midst of his recovery from an ACL injury. Brozovic, and again Albania have pulled everybody back behind the ball, and Croatia, the key thing is they've given them time to do that. But here is Kovacic looking to pick his way through, but he runs into a Yeti, and very quickly Albania look to spring the trap with the ball wide to this near side for Barami, but it's won back by Juranovic.
Yeah, defensively very well organised, very well set up. They're almost staying within the lines of the 18-yard box and saying, if you want to go wide you can, and then we'll try and engage, but we're not letting you make those passes through the middle. You just need to be careful when they win the ball back. They have to be able to keep it. If they don't, they'll just wave after wave of attack from Croatia, and at some point you feel they will create an opening.
Now Kramaric with a high ball into the penalty area, and a Croatian player, Perisic, is penalised inside the box for a challenge on Asani, who ruefully rubs the back of his head, and it will be a free kick for Albania. And even at this stage, with 25 minutes played, it's an opportunity just to slow things down and try and manage that game, Scott, because at the moment they aren't doing that, but they're getting away with it.
Yeah, absolutely. To be fair, at least they're trying to attack a little bit more than they did against Italy, and they're also getting back and numbers back when they possibly can. So it's down to Croatia. You know, Italy responded really well. Within 16 minutes after the first goal, they were 2-1 up. You know, what are we, nearly 16 minutes after the first goal, and it's still 1-0 at the moment. So it's down to Croatia. They know they've got the full 90 minutes. We know they're not going to panic, but because of that first game and how poor they were, certainly in terms of really, scoring chances, because they didn't score at all, things would just be in the back of their head that we really could go into half-time, could do with going at least 1-1.
Jim Siti has been penalised in the centre circle for a challenge, so it will be a free kick for Croatia. Albania have had 2 shots on target in the competition so far, and they've both gone in.
It's clinical for you, isn't it?
Well, they could barely get the ball at times against Italy, but it's been a different story so far here today. Now Meyer on this near side, the right for Croatia. The early cross is swung in, but the header is over the top from Petkovic, who had made the run in behind Ayeti, and he knows that was a real opportunity.
Yeah, it's a great ball in. It really is. And again, that's the problem if you're going to say, okay, let the ball go wide. Once it does go wide, so why players take a touch and whip it in straight away? You can't stop the cross, and then if the cross comes in with quality, which it did, he's got to be hitting the target there. He's only about 8 yards out, in between the sticks. That's a fantastic chance.
Missed that penalty against Spain, which would have at least given Croatia a foothold in the game. And he scored from the resulting broken play, but the play was brought back for original encroachment for the penalty, as Manai has been manhandled by Josip Satalo, and as a result it's a free kick here for Albania in a decent area, fairly central, 30 yards out.
It's a good physical battle, isn't it, between those two? Mane knows he has to do a job for his team, and he looks like he wants the ball to feet. He's willing to have that physical battle, whether it be with Guardiola or Sotalo.
He is not the tallest, Ray Mane, but he is very physical, that low centre of gravity.
He's got that Sir Kenny Dalglish backside, hasn't he?
Absolutely. Free kick here. Asani is over it, and it's swung wide to this near side. Jim Siti does well to rise in the air and nod it down, and then Ramadani with a cross into the near post, and there was no black shirt anywhere near it, but it was dealt by Petkovic. No call there for the striker back defending, and that could have gone anywhere.
They could have done. The keeper's got to be shouting for that to let it come through. It could easily come off the bottom of his studs and gone in, and I'll tell you what, 2-0. I'm not sure Croatia would come back from that, but with all their experience, next goal absolutely crucial.
Mario Mitai will take the throw in on this near side. Asllani comes short. And now Mitai again, looking to work the space for Asllani. He's done well. The cross high towards the far post, headed up in the air, really by Perisic, but it drops kindly to Kovacic. Back to Perisic inside the penalty area. Didn't really want it there with the Albanians scurrying towards him, and now Husek has done well with a challenge on the far side on Kramaric, and Albania win it back, and their fans are really up for this, and the players are really feeding off it.
Absolutely, that's exactly what they're doing. Husek, you can see, just put in a great tackle.
Now Asani down the right again, comes infield, another cross into the penalty area, looking for Mane, cleared away and then volley towards goal on the edge of the box, and it wasn't too far away, and it was a decent effort. It was Husai, the central defender, who was forward on the edge of the penalty area, and the volley whistles over.
Well, he's just made a great tackle, and then he's got himself in the box as well. Another very difficult from the right side, but left-footed cross coming in, defended. He's reacted first, he's on his left foot, he felt he had to strike it first time. Actually was a decent connection, but not quite getting over it.
29 minutes played on TalkSport 2, Croatia 0, Albania 1, the scoreline in Hamburg. Don't forget, coming up later on over on TalkSport, Natalie Sawyer on the air from 4 o'clock with Germany against Hungary, commentary from Ian Danta and Darren Bent. And then in Cologne, Hugh Wozencroft, Joe Shannon and Chris Owellamo will bring you Scotland against Switzerland from 7 o'clock over on TalkSport. It is such a big night for the Scots, and you can keep up to date with everything from the Euros every morning with the Euros All Access podcast. Sam Matterface and TalkSport's chief football correspondent Alex Crook are joined by some top guests and Scott Minto every single day.
I was just about to say, going to see if you give me a mention, and thank you for that, Nige.
Half an hour played, Croatia 0, Albania 1. We've got a game here, and we have a real story here as well. Modric has given the ball away cheaply, and there's an opportunity for Albania to break again with Asani. Mane makes the run down the centre, slip forward towards Asllani. Great save by Livakovic. Dominic Livakovic may have kept Croatia in the Euros there. Now Mane again looking to break into the penalty area on this near side, but he's robbed by Maya, and Lovro Maya will bring it clear. It was a great breakaway, but now it's given away by Maya. Here is Ramadani. He has been fouled by Kovacic, but Dominic Livakovic, who made the error for the goal, with a save there which has kept Croatia in the game.
It's a massive save, of that there's no doubt. And Christian Asllani be thinking to himself, what an opportunity. Talked about the next goal, absolutely crucial. He's found himself inside the box. He's definitely onside. A couple of the Croatian players have slipped over. He's just a little bit left to goal, but it's central pretty much. Had the choice to go either side. He's gone for the near post, but it's not right on the near post, and it gives the keeper a chance to make, as you say, that crucial save.
Free kick for Albania. Asllani is now over this, whip high to the far post, but a disappointing delivery, one bounce straight out of play. 31 minutes play, Croatia 0, Albania 1. But we've seen there the threat from Albania on the counter-attack. Asani was such a perceptive ball through, it was actually deflected by a desperate Croatian challenge into the path of Asllani, but he should have scored.
Well, he should have done. I mean, to be fair to Livakovic, he's dived the right way, but you almost thinking you've got to go back, almost back where it came from, go for the far post, especially as he's leaning towards that way, the goalkeeper. I'll tell you what, if they don't win this game and get knocked out, I'm pretty sure the class of Christian Aslani will be lying in bed at night for the next few weeks thinking, how did I not score that?
But again, Yasir Asani, who plays in South Korea for Gwangju, but when he arrived, Silvino and Pablo Zabaleta, the fullbacks union, the management team, of course, former Manchester City teammates, they sifted through 50 players who were available, sat in a hotel room in Tirana, looked at the tapes and thought who could play. Asani was one of those players. They got him in and they've not looked back since.
Absolutely, and it looks a really good balance to the side, doesn't it? Barami on one side, Asani on the other. Mane, as you said, he's not the biggest, but he's quite happy to have that physical battle and try and hold the ball up.
And then late in the game, they've got the pace of Broja, should they need him.
Yeah, that's a surprise, isn't it, that he didn't start, but certainly he looks like a very good decision at the moment.
33 minutes played, Croatia 0, Albania 1, as the Croats with their red and white checkerboard shirts come forward again on this near side with Maya, and it's back in field to Satalo, who had a fairly accident-prone season with Ajax, although he wasn't alone in Amsterdam. And now Modric again, back towards Satalo again. And Maya will try and attack down the right-hand side, always comes back onto that left foot, and he gives Barami the opportunity to block the cross, and it spins all the way up towards the halfway line, and Manai was chasing, but it's guided back towards Livakovic. And here is Brozovic again, who is now a teammate of Cristiano Ronaldo with Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia. Finding Kovacic. And as we've been saying, the combined age of the three midfielders for Croatia, 99, and at times they have creaked here today. But now Maya on the edge of the penalty area, looks for support, and he's given the ball away. And Hussein will find Mitai, and now Jim Siti, and Barami just plays it up to the halfway line, but he's given it straight to Brozovic. Brozovic now poked to this near side, and Modric again. 10 minutes to play in what's been a breathless first half. Another ball from Modric, doesn't find the intended target, and it's cleared away by Lacci. On the far side, Asani again, he had the run in behind, but he didn't spot it. But now it's played forward towards Manai, and Satalo had to make that.
Oh, unlucky. He's got really good vision, hasn't he, Asani? He's not afraid to not have to use his pace, but come inside and use that wand of a left foot.
Kramaric now goes down on the edge of the penalty area. Asani with the challenge, and once again there is a look of anguish on his face as he's penalised.
Yeah, it's a foul.
Definitely clips Kramaric.
It's almost whether it's a tired tackle or just an attacker's tackle. He's put his team under pressure here. I wouldn't necessarily say they're fully on top, but they do look dangerous, and they're quite happy in this situation, being 1-0 up. Croatia has yet not had a shot on target, but when quality comes in here, then they will definitely be under pressure.
Modric and Maya over the free kick. Maya, one of the German-based players in the starting lineup, along with Kramaric, who won the free kick. Modric with the delivery, fisted clear by Strakosha. It's now recovered by Kovacic. Wide towards the captain, Modric again. He slips as he plays it forward to Maya, and as a result Albania quickly have black shirts around the ball. But here is Kovacic, 10 yards inside the Albanian half, and again it breaks down for the Croatians, and Albania can bring it clear on this near side.
You know, you talked about the age of the midfield, or combined age, but you know, Luka Modric is 38, the other two are 30 and 31. I feel they need to step up, not just in terms of on the ball, but intensity. And Luka Modric has been on the ball himself a couple of times and given the ball away. The free kick that came in, he overhit, the keeper's come out and punched it. I just feel Brozovic and Kovacic, I want to see more of them. At least Luka Modric is trying to get on the ball. And the other two should be in their prime in terms of showing their dominance and experience, and they're not at the moment. Albania, to be fair to them, are defending really well.
And you're listening to Euro Game Day Live on TalkSport 2, presented by Burger King. Bring home the ultimate food satisfaction. Get your favourites delivered now.
Manai's quite happy to look in behind as well, isn't he? It was unlucky. It was a quick free kick. And that's something, again, he's not just someone who comes to feet. He's quite happy to go in behind. From a defender's point of view, that's an absolute nightmare if you're not knowing which way he's going to go.
Now Kovacic coming forward. 37 minutes played. Albania leading Croatia by a 0-0 in Group B at Euro 2024. A Croatian defeat could see them out of the competition depending on the match tomorrow night between Italy and Spain. Now Modric back towards Brozovic. He goes for goal, but it's a low, scuffed effort from 30 yards right-footed. Comfortable save for Strakosha.
Well, it was that poor from a class player that I'm wondering whether it was a shot, whether he tried to zip it in to one of the two front men. But I think it's pretty much sums up the game for Croatia so far. Having a lot of possession now, and you can understand why, but not able to break this very dogged Albanian defence down.
Don't forget, England against Denmark tomorrow. All the build-up with Euro Game Day Live with Hawksby and Baker from 1 o'clock, Adrian Durham and the team live in the stadium from 4. And that will be followed by Spain against Italy. But it's all about Scotland this evening. Their match against Switzerland in a very wet Cologne, but in a sunny Hamburg at the moment. The sun is definitely shining on Albania, leading Croatia by a 0-0 with 6 minutes to play in the first half. And on the balance of play, they deserve to be ahead as Gvardiol steps in again to find Kovacic, but Kovacic has been robbed by Asllani, and Albania will try and break again. Asani was the ball wide on the right-hand side, and now he receives it. And Asani just has to check back in field with no obvious outlet further forward, and Ramadani will go back towards Jim Siti, and they switch it wide towards this left-hand side. Mitai again. Modric almost won it back from Barami, but Ramadani has the opportunity to work it wide to the real technicians, Asllani and Asani, in this Albanian team. And once again, the play is broken up because Kramaric has conceded a free kick for the challenge on Asllani. And at the moment, Christian Asllani is running this game.
Yes, he is. And you wouldn't necessarily have thought that, would you, at the start of the game? To be fair to him, he's absolutely everywhere, popping up, not just central, but on the left, on the right, wherever the ball is, and he's trying to control the pace of the game to what Albania want, not what Croatia want.
5 minutes to play in the first half. Quasim Laci with the only goal in the 11th minute for Albania. And Croatia are heading for their second defeat as it stands. Ajeti clips the free kick towards Manai, midway inside the Croatian half. He goes down, no free kick this time, and Maya will bring it clear for Croatia. Kovacic, left-hand side, further wide towards Kramaric, who steps away from Hussein. Steps away from a second challenge on the edge of the penalty area, then on his back onto his outside. The crossing though is headed away at the far post by Mitai, and then Manai has been fouled by Sotalo, and it will be a free kick for Albania once again, and that will suit them. The ball going up to their forward player, he's won the free kick and they can advance with comfort.
Yeah, I have to say, really good refereeing, because about 30 seconds earlier when I thought he should have had a foul and it wasn't. There was a slight contact, but not enough for him to go down. See what Mane was trying to do, just kill the flow of the game. But 30 seconds later, absolutely, the challenge came in. It was a foul. As I say, the refereeing, I think generally speaking, has been very, very good.
Now, Slovenia wants a free kick because Asllani went down holding the small of his back just in front of the technical area. Nothing was given, and very quickly he was back on his feet.
Again, very good refereeing.
Maya on this near side, wide towards Juranovic, and here is Modric again. Albania happy to bring everybody back behind the ball as Perisic has it wide on the left-hand side. High cross to the far post, headed away by Mitai, only back out towards Modric in the central area though. Modric though was quickly closed down by Ramadani, and Modric now finding play incredibly congested whenever he's on the ball, but here is Kramaric now down the right, the cross into the near post, looking for Lovro Mayer, who's challenged by Jim Siti. He wants the corner, but it's a goal kick with 2.5 minutes to play in the first half.
Yeah, again, really good defending from Albania. Let the ball out wide. The cross came in, and Jim Siti talked about the success he's had at club level with Atalanta. You can see the experience just looking on the replays. You can see he's got that, as all good defenders do have, that kind of swivel head. He's looking at the ball, he's looking at the man, he's continually doing that. And in the end, he makes a really good challenge of Maya. I actually think he got the last touch, but it's a difficult one for the officials to see.
Berat Jim Siti playing for Albania for the 60th time today. Also an 86th cap for Elsi Hussein alongside him at the back. So there is real experience, and also they play for top clubs. So although Albania do have a lack of international pedigree, there is members of the squad who do offer so much for Slovenia and offer leadership and know-how on the field, and the game plan so far has been superbly executed. Now Brozovic wide towards Juranovic on this near side. Albania now will have eyes firmly fixed on half-time. Brozovic again. Back towards Kramaric. 1 or 2 smoke bombs have been let off inside the stadium when there is a warning from the public address to desist. As Juranovic plays a high cross in, looking for Perisic, who wins the header at the far post, but only directs it into the arms of Strakosha.
Again, good defending from Albania. I do think they've learned from that game against Italy. It's not just a question of just sitting back. I think the Italians will passing the ball a lot quicker than Croatia are, but they're getting themselves in the right position. And any crosses coming in, if they're not winning the initial one, they're making sure they win the knockdowns.
This Albanian team won only 1 of their 11 games before Silvino arrived. But they qualified as group winners for this tournament, played well against Italy, and they're leading here against Croatia. Now Sitalo for the Croatians. Back towards Juranovic. And they have made very little impression on Thomas Strakosha's goal so far. And a big 15 minutes coming up for Zlatko Dalo. As it's played back towards Kramaric now, down the left-hand side. The crossing is deflected, but it's a kind deflection for Albania into the arms of Strakosha as we enter a single minute of added time.
I'm not quite sure what Strakosha was trying to say to the referee's assistant, but the bottom line is he's got the ball in his hand. They're 45 seconds away from half-time. It has been a near-perfect first half for Albania.
Now it's been given away by Gvardiol in a dangerous area by Lacci. Wide towards Asadi, he comes in field, looks to let fly, but it rebounds kindly for them. The header from Manai inside the penalty area, and it's saved by Livakovic. Didn't quite get the power or direction he was looking for, but that was another really good chance for Albania to double their lead.
Wow, and if they'd have scored just before half-time as well, that really would have put the Croatians under pressure. Had a couple of good chances. Let's say they've learned from the Italian game. They're not just sitting back, they are trying to get that second goal.
Still time for Croatia to attack late in the first half. The Albanian fans want the whistle. Kovacic tries to work the 1-2. Here is Modric now, wide towards Perisic. The cross in, the header is down from Kramaric, and it's pulled away by Strakosha. And a free kick has been given to Albania, and that should do it for the first half.
Well, I'm not quite sure he was given a foul there. I think he would have given half-time as the cross is coming in. There's a bit of a push, isn't it, from Kramaric?
But at the other end, what an opportunity. Manai coming in on the shoulder of Juranovic, but unable to direct the header. But the half-time whistle has gone, and the Albanian supporters are jubilant at the moment in Hamburg. Once again they score early. Quasim Lacci heading in at the near post, although Dominik Livakovic will be disappointed with his role in the goal. And although Croatia have dominated long spells of possession, it's Albania who have had the better opportunities to increase their lead. We saw Christian Aslani clean through, denied by Livakovic, and Livakovic with another save to keep out the header from Ray Manai on the stroke of half-time. And Scott Minto, Croatia have got a big 15 minutes coming up here, because at the moment they're going out.
Well, they are. And, again, just like the game against Spain, you can turn around and say, OK, well, perhaps they weren't as bad as the scoreline suggests, but the scoreline suggests that Albania are going to go on and win this, and they've created the better chances. You're right, Croatia have had the possession, but it's understandable with that early goal. Yet in terms of who looks the most likely to get the second, or who's come closest to getting the next goal, absolutely that's been Albania. Fascinating second half coming up.
And if you are Silvino, do you say more of the same? Can his team do more of the same, playing at that pace they did, particularly in the opening 20 minutes?
Well, they're going to have to, and absolutely, if they can do exactly the same in the second half, might have to make some substitutions, and if that's it, if people are looking tired, look, give me 15, 20 minutes, give me whatever you've got, and if you're really tired, it's absolutely no problem, hold your hand up and I'll get someone to replace it. They have to play in the second half like they did in the first. I'll tell you what, Nigel, if they do, they can easily go on and win this game. We know that Croatia are vastly experienced, they won't panic, but the longer the game goes on, if they are able to create some more chances, Albania, there could be a massive upset here.
Thanks to Scott Minto. More from him coming up during half-time. We'll be looking ahead to the games later on this evening, live over on TalkSport. Germany against Hungary at 5, and of course Scotland against Switzerland at 8 o'clock. But half-time in Hamburg, Albania leading Croatia by a 1-0. This is Euro Game Day Live on TalkSport 2.
Euro Game Day Live on TalkSport 2 with Carly, the UK's #1 lager. 18 plus, always drink responsibly.
Settle down for a night of crime. Witness a heist. Follow a car chase. Eat too much popcorn. Meet a mafia boss. Join in on a bank robbery. Think about making a cup of tea. Be too comfortable to get up. For less.
Selected IKEA sofas are now at a new lower price, along with thousands of other products. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
Let's go live to hear about that winning goal.
The crowd's gone absolutely wild here. How on earth do you sum up your emotions right now?
Amazing. A hat-trick is just the best feeling ever.
Is it though? Is kicking a ball into the back of a net really better than food fulfillment from Burger King? That warm, fuzzy feeling of total food satisfaction, like finishing the last bite of a Gourmet King's Barbecue Steakhouse Angus.
No.
Correct. Burger King, that's food fulfillment.
Here she is, the 3-time world champion. What has she got in store for us today? Things are starting to heat up. Here she goes.
Triple builders, double stir. I don't believe it. And a chocolate digestive to finish it off. A thing of beauty. You have to say, the judges are gonna love this one.
British Gas, powering home fans during this summer of sport.
This tournament, prepare for greatness with William Hill. Get ready for last-minute winners, legendary goals, and straight red cards. Oh, what was he thinking? Win 50% more on every Scotland game this tournament with Bet Builder Extra, online or in the app, only from William Hill. Available day before match to kick-off. Bet Builders are 3+ selections at 3-1 or more. Pre-match singles, match stake £20. Full T's and C's apply. 18+, begambleaware.org.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
On the beach, on the beach, on the beach. Booking geniuses, save your summer. Get a wiggle on and book yourself a bargain with On the Beach. Big budget or small, we've got a mega holiday for all. Should have been a rapper. On the Beach, book like a genius, holiday like a fool.
ATO protected.
On the beach.
beach. Well, you can see why people are talking about Asda, can't you?
Of course, on paper, Asda have a great lineup with 2 for £7 on Coke 8 packs. Then there's pizza price drops, including the talented spicy chicken fajita flavour and classic 4 cheese deep dish. Worth £3 each, now £2 each.
And don't forget the dependable garlic flatbread was £1.80, now £1.50. What a lineup!
Get match ready at Asda this summer. Asda, that's more like it. Selected stores online subject to availability. Coke 330ml, £4.25 each. Pizzas and flatbread end 17th of July. May exclude express and small stores. See asda.com/small stores.
This Euros, The Sun is bringing you all the gossip, goals and giants of the game. Get insights and analysis from Harry, should have been England manager, Redknapp, Jack, the maestro, Wilshere, Gordon, no nonsense, Strachan, and Jurgen, the winner, Klinsmann. You won't want to miss it. Don't miss out, only in The Sun.
Euro Game Day Live, delivered by TalkSport 2 with Burger King. What's better than a last-minute winner? A crispy chicken royale delivered straight to your door.
It's Destination Deutschland.
A punishing finish.
UEFA Euro 2024, Germany.
Hi, I'm Jeff Stelling. Join me this summer on TalkSport and TalkSport 2 for Euro 2024, live from Germany.
It's game on. Don't miss any of the Euro 2024 action on TalkSport and TalkSport 2.
You won't miss a kick.
Sounds like summer, feels like Fußball.
UEFA Euro 2024, Germany.
Energizing ball by ball, kick by kick coverage of the biggest tournament in European football.
Crank it up.
Euro Game Day Live
on TalkSport 2.
And Scotland have it all to do. They've never progressed beyond the first group stage of a major tournament.
I think we just have to get back to being us. It's easy to talk about a game of football before or after the game, whatever you want, but it's not as easy to go out and do it.
I think it's always important for players to keep their emotions in check, to understand what we need to get from the game.
Let's make sure we win our individual battles and see where that takes us.
Scotland have to find a way of getting a win or getting a result with the players they have available to them.
The Tartan Army side will be coming down the road. They have done in their thousands, bringing with them that dangerous mix of hope and expectation that just pumps round the bodies.
4 points will get you to the knockout stages.
We're going to get 6 points. There's 2 games to go. We'll beat the Swiss on Wednesday, beat the Hungarians on Sunday. Nothing to worry about. Still positivity, obviously.
He's back from injury and he's back amongst the goals. Brillem Boulot wins the game for Switzerland.
We expect a difficult night. Switzerland, they're a bit of a template for what we want to become.
Maybe not must win, but certainly feels must not lose after what happened on Friday night. And that the situation for Scotland heading into their second game at Euro 2024 when they meet Switzerland this evening live on TalkSport with Hugh Wozencroft, Joe Shannon and Chris Owellamo. Of course, in our game currently underway on TalkSport 2, a potential shock with Albania leading Croatia by a goal to nil. Full second half commentary coming up, but Scott Minto, let's look ahead to the Scotland game, and it sounds like there's been a large amount of soul searching after Friday night because it was always going to be a big occasion, first game, playing the host nation, but Scotland, I think, fell down in every single department, and there is a lot to repair, it seems.
No, absolutely, and look, we mustn't forget, it's over 80 million population versus 5. We know that Scotland have had a lot of injuries, but in terms of the players that went out there, they will know that each and every one of them didn't perform to how they would. And I mentioned it looked like it was 11 German players who wanted the ball all the time, probably 3, maximum 4 of the Scots. And this is a difficult game, because I did the Switzerland-Hungary game. I thought first half Switzerland were very, very good. So this is not the ideal game. I'd take a draw for the Scots right now and hope that they can get a win against Hungary. But even that in itself won't be easy because Switzerland will be looking at this game themselves and saying, look, we need all 3 points here.
Of course, Tony Kroos ran the game on Friday night, a veteran player. Switzerland have Granit Xhaka. I'm not saying he's got the quality of Tony Kroos, but in a match like this he could do a similar job.
Yeah, and he is their talisman, so he hasn't got the Champions League medals that Tony Kroos has, but absolutely he's as important to Switzerland as Kroos is to Germany. And I think it's not a difficult one to learn, is it? They should have got someone on Tony Kroos a lot earlier. Okay, it's one thing to say he can play 1-2 touch, but just get someone on him, and if it becomes a 10v10 then so be it. I think they've got to do something similar here as well. Granit Xhaka again in that first half bossed it. He ran the show, and it looked like Swiss were ready for a situation like that, playing in a massive tournament, whereas the Hungarians weren't. Scotland, for me though, this is about the mental side, this is the psychological side. Are you able to get over that performance, or are you too scarred by it? If they can, and they can just at least try and, without the ball, get tight to Switzerland, then I do believe they can get something out of it, but I think still it's going to be a very difficult game for them.
And you mentioned Switzerland, as you say, you saw the opening game, they played very well, they dominated Hungary, deserved to win. They're often under the radar, both individually and collectively, but when you look at their squad, you think, blimey, they've got some big clubs and some big players.
They have got some big players and really good individual players. And what the Swiss kind of do is that they kind of get out the group stage, don't they? But then don't go much further in the knockout stages. And I can see them doing something similar here. I think this is always going to be a very difficult group. And I'll tell you what, I was disappointed by the Hungarians. So I don't know if they can get a lot better, or whether actually they're not as good as perhaps we thought they were. The Scots certainly hope that they won't, because from what I saw in that game, Switzerland versus Hungary, this is the next most difficult game. As I say, you can't just sit back, you've got to make sure you try and get on the ball, be happy with that. But again, I go back to the psychological side. Can Scotland get over what happened that was just the ultimate worst case scenario?
And a quick word on Germany. Are they the best team we've seen so far?
I think they've put in the best performance. I wouldn't necessarily say the best team, because we don't know, and I think, you know, Scotland were that poor. It's difficult to judge, but I thought they were superb from start to finish. You talked about Toni Kroos, but Florian Wirtz and Jamal Musiala, I thought Gundogan was superb as well. And defensively, they're very, very strong, aren't they? So I've always thought if they could click, then they could go all the way, especially playing at home. But at this moment in time, I just don't judge teams on the first match day. I really don't. Let's see how they are in the second, and let's see how they are when it really matters once we get to the knockout stages.
Doubleheader coming up from Group A over on TalkSport, 5 o'clock Germany, Hungary, and then 8 o'clock Scotland against Switzerland. In Group B, Albania 45 minutes away from a victory against Croatia. Let's get the first half highlights on TalkSport 2 with Carly.
Halftime highlights on TalkSport 2 with Carly, the UK's #1 lager. 18 plus, always drink responsibly.
That's the first opportunity for Asani to attack. He loves to come in field and clip the ball in left-footed, and he does here, and it's headed in by Laci. And Albania have the lead. Quasim Laci with the near post header. A terrible error by Lovakovic. It is Croatia 0, Albania 1, and are the golden generation about to go home early.
Lovakovic will be disappointed that he hasn't saved that, but he's gone right down and almost he's having to dive to his left. The ball's bouncing, so he's gone the furthest he's had to do to try and save that. It's a wonderful header.
So 1-0 at half-time. Croatia are about to make a change at the start of the second half. But before the game gets underway, let's take a look at the odds with William Hill.
In the Zone on TalkSport 2 with William Hill. Prepare for greatness with William Hill. 18 plus, gambleware.org.
And Croatia are 13-5 to win the game and come from behind in the second half. The draw is 2-1 and Albania are 6-5. Albania still waiting in the tunnel for the start of the second half, but already Luka Susic is out for Croatia, and their coach is not waiting seemingly, because he is looking to change things up in an attacking sense, and Luka Susic of Salzburg will be coming on at the start of the second half. And if you are the coach, Zlatko Dalic, you will look at the way the team played at the start of the second half and be disappointed, and Mario Pasalic of Atalanta will also be coming on as well, a more experienced player, so a double change. And clearly the Croatian coach believing that urgent action is needed, and Scott Minto, to be honest, you can't blame him.
No, absolutely, and they're 45 minutes away, as you say, from possibly being knocked out of the competition. You know, the start of the tournament, you say, who are the ones who could be, you know, really disappointing? I wouldn't have thought Croatia. I actually thought maybe Italy in this group, but if they are to lose this game, then yeah, absolutely they would be that team, and I didn't expect this. Luka Modric stays on, but it's interesting to see who Sucic comes on for, because obviously he is a central midfielder.
Now, before the second half gets underway, we have the odds with William Hill. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org. Well, Silvino doesn't appear to have made any changes to his team at the start of the second half, as Thomas Strakosha and Berat Jimsiti lead out their side. Well, we can see that Lovro Mayer is one of the players who has been taken off, because he's currently sat looking rather disappointed in the technical area. So Susic and Pasalic, the two players who will be coming on, and there is a clear need for them to try and freshen things up, and it's Mayer and Brozovic who have gone off.
Interesting. I thought it had to be one of the three experienced players in that Croatian midfield. It's Brozovic who's gone. I mean, Luka Modric, he's staying on, but he needs to somehow dominate this game more. You know, we expected a little bit more of them. Yes, okay, he's 38, but the other two at 31 and 30. Kovacic is the one who's stayed on there as well. I want to see more from him. 45 minutes away from what could be an amazing result for Albania.
So the Croatian team is now Livakovic in goal, Juranovic, Sutalo, Gvardiol and Perisic. It'll be Modric and Kovacic in midfield, along with Pasalic, with Susic, Petkovic and Kramaric in attack. Albania, Strakosha in goal, Husay, Jimsiti, Ayeti and Mitai, Aslani, Ramadani and Laci, who scored the goal, Asani, Manai and Barami. And we are back underway in the second half in Hamburg. Croatia in their red and white check shirts, attacking the goal away to our left. Albania in all black, and they are leading by a goal to nil. And at the moment, they are heading for what would be a momentous victory against a team who have reached 3 World Cup semi-finals in recent years. Croatia have never won a knockout game at the Euros, and at the moment it's highly unlikely they will be playing one in this tournament. Gvardiol now, wide to this near side, and Kovacic. And there is the option, I suppose, for Gvardiol to also push into the wider area. Now Pasalic, scored twice in the European qualifiers. Kovacic, another very experienced player, this his 65th appearance. Susic only making his 9th appearance, and he's on the ball now, cutting back and looking to play it wide to the far side, and then the cross is delivered high into the penalty area. Petkovic rising to try and direct a header towards goal, but no power or direction behind that header, and it's claimed by Thomas Strakosha, who very quickly clears downfield looking for Manai. Manai almost brings the ball under control, but Sutalo does just enough to bundle the ball away from him.
I'll tell you what, that was good thinking from the goalkeeper. It was a one-on-one situation. If the ball had bounced in Manai's favour, then he would have had a one-on-one situation with the Croatian keeper.
And Silvino set his team up perfectly in the first half in terms of the game plan and the attitude. He didn't really create too many waves when he was coach of Lyon in the French league, but he and Albania at the moment seem to be a very good fit.
Yeah, I think the organisation was really good, but I also think the mentality. Again, we talked about learning what happened in the Italy game, scoring that early goal and then just sitting back and almost waiting for the 90 minutes to go up. It's not going to happen like that. And what I would say is I don't think Croatia have moved the ball as quickly as Italy did, and that's something that they need to do. They won't panic. The longer it goes on like this, the closer we'll get to Albania creating history.
They have won a game previously at Euro 2016, but they lost the other two and went out in the group stage. They beat Romania, but were beaten by the host nation France and Switzerland. Croatia try and come forward now. It was played wide by Kramaric towards Perisic, and the challenge comes in from Laci, and Perisic turning around to Kramaric and saying, look, there's got to be more pace on these balls forward to me, because at the moment Albania are not giving Croatia a moment to breathe on the edge of the penalty area. Perisic now though with a long throw hurled in towards the near post, but rising was Ayeti, And I think the final touch must have been off Perisic, who was down clutching his face because a goal kick's been given.
Well, again, good defending. And whether it's been Croatia pass, they've defended well, Albania. Whether it's been balls into the box, they've got up and defended well. And yes, it was absolutely Petkovic who had the last touch.
4 minutes played into the second half in Hamburg. It is Croatia 0, Albania 1 in Group B of UEFA Euro 2024. Germany in action against Hungary at 5 o'clock, Scotland against Switzerland at 8 o'clock. Both those games will be live over on TalkSport. Their coverage will begin as soon as we are finished here. And we will be going live to Ascot for the Royal Ascot meeting at the end of this game. But there is so much to talk about in the second half, you feel, as Croatia look to attack again with Modric wide towards Pasalic. And again, Albania shut the door on the far side, the right, so they will have to try again with Pasalic. And now Modric in towards Petkovic. It's a good touch, and the shot driven low by Susic on the edge of the penalty area, and it's beaten away by Strakosha. Best opportunity so far for Croatia. Now Kovacic in the wide area, finding Pasalic again. And it's worked wide to the left, and Perisic. 5 Croatians wait for the cross, high towards the far post, but the header on the stretch from Pasalic is over the top, and it will be a goal kick. But finally, Thomas Strakosha having something decent to do.
Yeah, first shot on target for Croatia. I'll tell you what, they have started a lot better in the second half. And that was a wonderful chance for him. It's a good first touch. He's just taken it out of his feet with the second touch. He's aimed for the far post for it to curl in. It's got a little bit too close to the goalkeeper. But what I would say is Croatia, without a doubt, have started to up the intensity, something they didn't do in the first half. Balls are coming in the box. They're looking forward with their early passes quicker. And we're waiting to see whether Albania can hold out for 45 minutes if Croatia are able to keep this up for the whole of the second half.
Well, Albania have a throw-in on the far side. And maybe it's time for them to try and slow the game down. Of course, they scored the early goal, the header from Quasim Laci, but they had a couple of really good opportunities to extend their lead. And I think had it gone 2-0, I don't think Croatia would have been able to come back into the game. But of course, while it's only 1-0, it's in the balance as Kramaric plays it wide to the far side, and Pasalic. The 2 subs have been prominent so far in the early stages of the second half. Kovacic now onto the right foot, 25 yards out, goes wide towards the far side. The cross is delivered towards the far post. Pasalic nods it down when maybe he could have gone for goal, and in the end it's smuggled away by Albania. But here is Gvardiol again on this near side, closed down by Hussein. And in the end, Gvardiol goes down, and he wants a free kick, but it's a goal kick.
Well, I'll tell you what, I like the style of these referees. I don't mind a bit of physicality. I think that probably was a foul at the end, but I don't mind the fact that he hasn't given it. Gvardiol, we know, can get forward. He's certainly very good at that in a Manchester City shirt. He's wanting to do that for his country now, but not quite happening. But as I say, I like Croatia's reaction in this second half. They're playing a lot quicker, and they're also quite happy when the ball goes wide to stick the ball in the box, because one of these opportunities will create a really good chance for someone at the far post to get that equaliser. And again, you feel if they can get the equaliser reasonably early in the second half, then they can get the winner.
Modric coming forward now, wide towards the far side, and Pasalic. Susic, who is part of the younger generation for Croatia to eventually take over Modric's mantle, but alongside him in midfield at the moment. Now Kovacic with a shot deflected, and Strakosha did well to throw up both hands and keep it out.
Again, they're not afraid to have a shot on the edge of the box. I think it's dangerous to allow Kovacic to come inside on his right foot, and that deflection could easily have gone a yard or two either side of Strakosha, and he wouldn't have been able to save it.
And you're listening to Euro Game Day live on TalkSport 2, presented by Carling, the UK's #1 lager. 18 plus, please drink responsibly. Now Perisic. Infield for Croatia. 8 minutes played in the second half. Albania still leading by a 1-0 on TalkSport 2. Modric with a high ball wide to this near side. Taken down well by Kramaric. Back towards Perisic again. Right foot across towards the far post, and a glancing header from Susic is wide this time, Pasalic rather. But one or two more high balls into the penalty area now are finding Croatian heads.
Absolutely. Croatia just can't stop believing. They've got to think that one of these crosses coming in will get the equaliser. For Albania, they just need to try and get hold of the ball a little bit more. You're absolutely right what you said a couple of minutes ago. They need to try and control the tempo of the game. At the moment, it's all Croatia.
Now Manai, who was offside, brings it down on his chest on this near side, and it will be a free kick for Croatia. And it could be a very long second half for Albania if this continues, but they still lead, and they will be ticking off the milestones here. 10 minutes played in the second half. The early goal from Quasimlachi, still dividing the two sides in Group B on TalkSport 2. Modric now tries to thread the eye of the needle and play it forward towards Susic, but it's overhit and it's gathered by Strakosha. There were one or two nervous faces among the Croatian supporters. And Croatia have not gone successive competitive games without scoring since Nations League ties against Spain and England 6 years ago. Modric forward now towards Kramaric, who allows the ball to run, and it's cut out by Ajeti. And Albania have the opportunity to break, and it's swirled wide towards the far side. And Barami, who controls the ball on his left shoulder. Further forward to Mitai, who will try and take on Pasalic as he heads towards the corner flag. Pasalic with a challenge initially, but it's back towards Barami, and it's some welcome possession for Albania inside the Croatian half. Now Ramadani. Back towards Barami again, and this is smartly done by Albania just to slow the pace of the game down themselves.
Yeah, this is good. This is exactly what they need to do. Not let Croatia have the ball. I was just about to say, don't knock the ball long, and that's exactly what Strakosha's done. He's overplayed it and given the ball back to Croatia.
And here is Gvardiol of Manchester City on the halfway line, finding Modric again for Croatia. Could this be his last meaningful game at a major championships? If Croatia lose, events tomorrow night in the game between Spain and Italy could see them going home early. Now Petkovic finding Modric again. Wide towards the far side, the high cross towards the far post from Juranovic, and a looping header is over the top from Petkovic again. He thumps at the ground in frustration as a chance goes begging.
Yeah, but it's the right thing to do. Again, they've got the ball wide. It's not just pass and looking for the perfect goal. He's unlucky there, Petkovic. There's a corner.
It looped behind off Ajeti in the end. Corner kick, which will be taken by Modric. An in-swinger towards the near post, and the header is wide. And that was headed wide from extremely close range by Josip Satalo. How on earth did he miss that?
He's not expecting it. There's about 3 or 4 players in front of him, and he's jumped up almost blind. I think he's even got his eyes closed there, and it's come off the side of his head. I mean, it's not an easy header. What you need to do is get the slightest of touches. It looks like he's so close to the goal that he should be hitting the target, and he should, of course, but if you get a connection like that, you've got no chance. It's more about just letting it slide off the side of your head, and in the end he's got too good a connection.
He must have been half a yard out, and it went wide. But here is Kovacic coming forward now for Croatia. Wide to Kramaric on the left, looking to take on the challenge of Hussein. Did Kramaric carry the ball behind? Well, it's immaterial because Albania have won the ball back, and they will try and clear with Laci on this near side. Back to Asani. Good ball from him down the line. Clip short towards Matai. Well, Matai was looking for the shorter ball and he went longer in the end, all the way through to Livakovic. And Albania, in that sort of situation now, just need to be a bit smarter.
Yeah, I mean, that was actually initially really good play in their final third, and yet when the ball was coming up to Mane, he's come short, the ball's gone long, and again, Croatia now on the attack.
Here is Kovacic. Played high, but headed away by Jimsiti. As far as Modric. Quickly wide to the right-hand side. A low deflected cross is cleared by Ramadani. Modric lets fly, catches an Albanian in the stomach. And there is an Albanian player down inside the penalty area, Ramadani. And as a result, play is stopped.
No, I don't agree with that. It's not hit his head. It's painful, yes. It's a good strike from Luka Modric.
Hit him on the thigh.
It's hit him on the thigh. He's gone a little bit higher, making it look like it's his stomach, but even if it was, I'm sorry, play on. Again, it's not his head. The referee's bought that one.
An hour played. Croatia 0, Albania 1. Croatia have dominated the second half here on TalkSport 2, but are yet to score.
It's actually really clever play from Ramadani, trying to make it look like it was something a little bit more serious than what it was, and now he's just killing a little bit of time where Croatia have been on top. Again, all the neutrals want to see Albania win this one, but from Croatia's point of view, I've been very impressed with how they've stepped it up in the second half. And they are knocking on the door.
Don't forget, over on TalkSport, 5 o'clock, Germany against Hungary, followed by Scotland against Switzerland.
He's run off the pitch, by the way, still holding his stomach. We've just seen a replay where we know it's
he's played his part well then, hasn't he? Here is Perisic now. A low shot from him is deflected, and Strakosha, flying across to his left, manages to cling on with both hands.
Yeah, I think it's right that they haven't been afraid to have some shots, but I think Perisic was a little bit far out there. Would have been some strike to beat the keeper from there.
Perisic, one of a number of centurions in this team in terms of caps. Kovacic and Modric, of course. This is a 98th appearance for Brozovic. The way things are shaping up, he won't get the century in this tournament. Kramaric also winning his 95th cap, 33 years of age today, but not a happy birthday for him so far. It is still Croatia 0, Albania 1. Croatia with 63% of the possession. They've completed 3 times as many passes as Albania, but the crucial stat is on the scoreboard. Modric now with a high cross into the penalty area, hooked away well by Ajeti, with Pekovic lurking, headed further clear by Jimsiti up to the halfway line, but the ball is coming back now for Albania with increasing rapidity. Kovacic again, 25 yards out in a central area, finding Kramaric, back towards Kovacic. Modric now looking to work some space, but he's quickly closed down, but Kovacic has done well to wriggle away from the challenge of Manai, but it was brought clear briefly by Ramadani, but Croatia still have it inside the penalty area with Kramaric, but it's hooked away by Ajeti. And now Manai, was he held by Satalo? Not according to the referee. Modric wide to the far side, but good anticipation from Mitai. And here is Ramadani for Albania. Tries to find Ramadani, Barami rather, but it's in towards Laci and all the way back towards Strakosha.
It's brilliant football from Croatia, I have to say. It's 1-2 touch passing. We talked about the intensity and how well Italy did that when they went a goal behind against Albania. It's exactly what Croatia have done in the second half, and there's some last-ditch defending from Albania. They need to get into the Croatia half.
Barami now coming forward for Albania into the penalty area, left-hand side. Laci lays it back to Aslani. Clever touch from him to create some space. Right foot shot from him is into the body of Livakovic, as another smoke bomb is let off by the Croatian supporters behind the goal away to our right, and you'll have heard the requests from the authorities to cut that out. Now Perisic with a throw-in on this near side, and Albania are making a change, and it's Asani, who did have a muscle injury in training in the build-up to this game, who will be replaced by Taulant Seferi, who started the first game, and he will come on now to play in the wide area. And Asani has done his job.
Yes, he has. He's done very well indeed. And I do think Slovenia had to make some changes. Perhaps even needs to make a few more as well, because they're very much on the back foot at the moment, Albania.
Perisic. Good ball down the line, into space left-hand side for Kramaric, who wriggles away from a challenge. The cross in is behind Petkovic, and just booted clear gratefully on the edge of the penalty area. And now Menai at the other end will try and win it back, and Seferi, his first involvement. There's a Croatian player down, Satalo, and the referee again has halted play with Albania in possession, looking to break forward. 64 minutes played on TalkSport 2, Croatia 0, Albania 1. You're listening to Euro Game Day Live, presented by Burger King. Bring home the ultimate food satisfaction. Get your favourites delivered now. And are Croatia about to make more changes? It's Satalo who is down, and I think again, as he tangled with Manai, he went down and maybe just took that one because he knew his team were struggling in broken play.
Yeah, and actually Lache had made another great run, like we know he can. And he was screaming for the ball to be pinged cross-field, and he would have been in on goal. Again, I'm not quite sure why the referees stopped this one. It's not a head injury.
Ante Budimir will be on shortly for Croatia. Started the first game, but the Osasuna striker is not a razor-sharp bag of goals on previous form, and that's what they need at the moment. As Albania try and break here. Clipped forward by Barami. It's an intelligent ball towards the edge of the area, but Juranovic does well to win it back, but Lachi has quickly robbed Modric on the far side. He can come infield onto his right foot. The early cross into the penalty area, sliding in to clear was Guardiol. It's almost won by Mane on the edge of the box, but his pocket has been picked by Kovacic, and Croatia will bring it clear again. 65 minutes played, Albania leading 1-0, but it's looking a tenuous lead at this stage on TalkSport 2. Kramaric back towards the edge of the area, but again it is defended well by Aslani, and a great ball forward from him. And here is the opportunity for Barami to attack now down the right hand side, up towards the edge of the penalty area. Is there space for the shot? There was, but he whizzes the ball over the angle at the near post, and it's a goal kick.
Do you know what? That's brilliant wing play from Barami. He's coming inside and he's looking to see if he can make the pass. He's seeing how things are developing. No one's really making the run, but there's no one's really engaging him either. So in the end, he knows he may not be able to get past Guardiol, but just needs half a yard. He got that half a yard, and in the end, probably just a bit too tired to get that shot on target. But that's what Albania need to do. They need to get into Croatia's half. They can't just sit back.
Croatia coming forward again now. On this near side with Kramaric. Budimir is still waiting for his moment to come on, as Kovacic now on the far side, finding Satalo, and Juranovic now will try and attack with the help of Modric. And we've seen Modric give the ball away on 2 or 3 occasions here, which is very unlike him. He remains the talisman, but he's had some difficult moments in this game. Juranovic swings in the cross, and it's a hopeful cross, and it's claimed by Strakosha, and you can hear the reaction of the Albanian supporters, because every moment like that is a moment closer towards the full-time whistle.
Yeah, absolutely delighted, weren't they, to see their goalkeeper catch that one. And I do think I've been quite happy to see the balls coming in the box. Juranovic was really tight on the touchline, and there was also a defender close to him. That wasn't the time to try and get it in. He couldn't get in the quality, and in the end it was a simple catch.
Now Modric wide to the far side, and to bear out the point we were making, Modric's passing accuracy in the final third is the second lowest of any Croatian player. Now Kramaric finding Perisic on the left. Perisic though with a good looking ball towards the far post, and arriving was Pasalic, but under pressure he guides the header over the top.
That's a better situation where you're getting further forward, you've got the extra half a yard, you are able to put the ball in with quality, as we know that Perisic can. And Pasalic just at the far post there, not quite able to get a proper connection on it, but the goal is coming if they keep on playing like this, Croatia.
Straight swap, Pekovic off, and Ante Budmar coming on. So Croatia are changing things, but they're not really changing their shape, although they have been, of course, more offensive in the second half, as there's a bit of a coming together between Gvardiol and Manai on the far side, but play continues and it quickly fizzles out. Now Gvardiol brings it forward in towards the feet of Budmir, and Gvardiol again finding Perisic. Perisic with the crossing, which was deflected, which allows Ajeti to head the ball clear, and it's back towards Gvardiol. And we are ticking towards the final 20 minutes here on TalkSport 2. Croatia 0, Albania 1. And now Albania look to break themselves. Laci almost manages to thread it through to Manai, but here is Perisic now, finding Pasalic. And Budmir on the left-hand side. His cross, though, is blocked by Ajeti, and it will be a Croatian corner.
It's brilliant, isn't it? Just love these kind of attack versus defence. One team trying to hold out, the other team, the favourites, really piling on the pressure.
Modric will take the corner kick on this near side, in towards that near post. Headed away, though, by Jim Siti, and there is an opportunity for Albania to break, and they almost did, but Manai has just been denied. Modric unable to keep the ball in play on this near side, and it will be a throw-in for Albania, and they will try and linger over every single restart now. And there is going to be another change. Silvino will urge Klaus Jasula to come on and make a difference. Zasula plays in Germany for Darmstadt, relegated this season from the Bundesliga. He's played his entire career in Germany, and he comes on for the biggest game of his life in Hamburg here. Now Kovacic, though, first for Croatia. Back towards Sotalo. And Albania have every single black shirt back behind the ball here. But we've seen them do that effectively at times in the game, because even with weary legs, they've still got the break on the counter-attack, and they may look to use that here because the ball doesn't find Kramaric, but the clearance on the far side from Mitai hits Kramaric and spins kindly for Albania behind for a goal kick. And here is the change, the goal scorer going off, Quasim Laci, to be replaced by Klaus Jasula.
Yeah, that's a brilliant ball in from Luka Modric, though, just with the outside of his foot. Seen him do that a few times in his career. And a lovely little over from Kramaric. It's a poor touch from Budimir, should have done better. And Croatia just got to keep on going. They won't panic, as I say. Can they tire out this Albanian side? And Slovenia, rightly so, making changes.
And Jasula comes on to win his 29th cap, wasn't involved at all in the game against Italy, and there's a big bear hug from Silvino for Laci, who at the moment is the match winner. Now Kovacic heads it back to his own goal. It's kneed by Gvardiol into the arms of Lavakovic. Some of the Albanian supporters at the other end of the stadium appeal for a back pass, but that was okay, as the shadows begin to creep across the playing surface here in the sunshine on this near side. Perisic with a good cross into the penalty area. Ajeti diving in to head the ball clear, and Albania will hammer it forward towards Manai. No sign of Armando Broja yet. Now Juranovic has lost the ball to Seferi, and Albania can break forward here. Seferi, though, all on his own, waits for support, then comes in field, and the right-footed shot is a real trundler. And he had Manai in space to his right.
He did, really selfish play. He did so well initially as well, winning the ball back. And then once he's looked up, You can see he's almost got carried away with what he's done, and with the fans behind him probably shouting to shoot. He has to have that composure, and he was not happy.
Now Kovacic now. Infield again on the edge of the penalty area. It comes for Kramaric! And Croatia are level. Andrej Kramaric finally breaks the Albanian resistance. And that's a goal which could keep Croatia alive at Euro 2024. And just when it seemed they were beginning to run out of ideas, the ball broke kindly. Kramaric on the turn makes no mistake. He was onside, and it's 1-1.
I've got to say, I've been very impressed by Croatia in this second half. They really have stepped up the intensity. They've been putting balls in the box, they've been having shots. They've not panicked. They've not just gone route one in the end. And I said, look, the goal is coming if it keeps on like this. And Albania, there's only so much you can hold out. They're giving their best, they're giving their all, but Croatia have stepped it up completely. With substitutions as well, and the likes of Kovacic really stepping up. He's bossed this second half. They believe they can go on and win this now.
Kramaric scoring on his 33rd birthday. 1-1 with 16 minutes to play on TalkSport 2. Now Ramadani trying to bring the ball clear for Albania, but you just felt the goal was coming. And here's another opportunity. Pasalic though just gets his feet in a tangle on the edge of the 6-yard area, and Strakosha on the ground manages to pull the ball to safety.
Oh, what an opportunity for Croatia to make that two in the space of a couple of minutes. Again, those little passes now, they're able to find space. And Pasalic will be thinking just what happened there. Great ball in, one-touch play. He's gone in behind the defence. He's just not quite able to get control of the ball. His first touch is decent, but the second touch has come off his knee. And after that, he's not able to control it. Strakosha was down as well. But in the end, he's taken advantage and grabbed the ball there.
Croatia now hunting the winning goal. Kovacic, square to this near side, and Gvardiol. And now a turn to pick out Budimir, who makes the run into the penalty area. He's won it back and pulls it into the area, and it's deflected in, and Croatia have done it. And it's the youngster with his first international goal, Luka Susic. 2 goals in 2 minutes, and for the second successive game, Albania have gone from 1-0 up, 2-1 down in the blink of an eye, and Croatia have suddenly revived their Euro hopes. 2-1.
It's just incredible, this game. It goes from one way to the other. The atmosphere, still incredible, but it's the Croatian fans who are going mad right now. And again, it's that experience of, okay, we'll keep knocking at the door. They needed to step up what happened in the first half. They certainly did that. 1-1, they believe they can go on and get the winner now. Great play from Budimir, who's come on down the left-hand side. Well-timed run. He showed his strength, first of all. And then he's nicked it round the goalkeeper.
Oh, it's an own goal.
It's an own goal. But it's something which Croatia, in the second half, I'm not going to say they deserved, because Albania were very, very good in the first half, but it's just such a marked difference. It's so unlucky as well.
It's Jaisula who deflected the ball in. The shot from Susic, blocked by Jim Siti, and it hits Jaisula and rebounds into the net. Nothing that he could do. And Croatia, who for so long in the game were labouring, now lead 2-1.
You've got a feel for Jaisula, haven't you? There's nothing he could do at all. But again, that's what happens when you're put under intense pressure. Great play again from Budimir down that left-hand side, showing his strength, cutting the ball back. And the ball's just come off Jim Siti. And Jaisula's got no chance to move out the way at all. Really unlucky that it's bounced towards the goal and gone in. Could have gone anywhere. But again, it's about that intensity that Croatia have got in the second half that they didn't have in the first half, that they didn't really have in the first game. And now they're a team in control.
77 minutes played. Croatia 2, Albania 1, and Albania will be looking back on that chance for Asllani in the first half to make it 2-0. Had that gone in, I don't think Croatia would have come back. But Livakovic made the save, and now they trail 2-1. 2 minutes, 27 seconds between the two goals.
Yeah, and Safari had that chance as well, didn't he, where he was a bit selfish. Instead of passing it, the ball went down the other end and Croatia got the equaliser. Massive moments.
And Jasula has now been penalised for a foul. And Albania, who had made the changes to try and contain Croatia, must now try and chase the game. And Silvino, deep in conversation with his management team, of course, notably Pablo Zabaleta in the technical area. Croatia are preparing another change, but Susic finding Modric now on this near side, and it's clipped into the area. It'll break kindly almost for Budimir, but as he tried to bulldoze his way through, it was deflected away from him, and it's claimed by Strakosha.
Yeah, it's so difficult to kind of wrestle back control when you're 1-0 up and you're on the back foot. You know, you're quite happy not to have the ball. But suddenly when it goes to 2-1 and you've got to turn the tide of what's been happening of the whole of this second half, so difficult. And if anything, it looks like Croatia are going for the third.
Modric now on the far side. Croatia still have to play Italy in their final game in Leipzig on Monday. Albania will be facing Spain in Dusseldorf, and we'll see what happens in the Italy-Spain game tomorrow night.
I mean, look, whatever happens to Albania, I think they've shown they can be very proud, the nation, of the football they've come up against, what we've called the group of death. They're still not out of it, of course, but they've got to try and get the ball, and they're still not able to do that.
Perisic now coming forward for Croatia, kills the ball high to the far post, hooked away by Minaj, with Pasilic coming in at pace to try and finish things off. Now Asllani, deep inside his own half, finding a Yeti. Have they got the energy to create an opportunity at the other end here? Oh, it's now been given away by Jasula, and here's an opportunity for Budimir inside the penalty area, but it's cleared away by Jim Seaton. The early ball forward now, looking for Safari at the other end, challenged by Sotalo. One or two Albanian supporters appealing for a free kick, but the referee allows play to continue, and Sotalo quickly gets back to his feet to win it back.
Yeah, brilliant defending from the centre half. First of all, showing great pace and the timing of it, because if he had mistimed it, it would have been a penalty.
And Elid Hussein was booked in the aftermath of the goal. I think the Albanians were complaining about a challenge on Minaj at the other end of the pitch before the goal came. They believe they should have had a free kick at one end just before they scored their own goal at the other.
Well, we'd have to have another look at that, but what I would say is we know for the refereeing of the game that he's allowing that kind of physical contact.
But the story for Albania, in 2 games now they've given up goals in quick succession, but they're coming forward with Jasula, wide to Safari on the right hand side. Minaj still waits inside the penalty area. He delivers in the cross, but Perisic has the presence of mind to chest it back to Livakovic. And we have 8 minutes to play. Croatia leading Albania by 2-1 here on TalkSport 2.
Yeah, they're trying to get the ball down the other end, and they are having a little bit more possession. And rightly so, Croatia just trying to slow the tempo of the game now, trying to keep it. And these Albanian players have given their all, first of all in the first half on the front foot. Croatia didn't have a shot on target, and then the second half defending, but Croatia have shown all their wily experience and class, not necessarily through Luka Modric. I think Mateo Kovacic has been superb,
and the changes have made a difference.
Changes made a difference, so fair play, you have to say, Zlatko Dalic, but also I think Kovacic in that midfield, I wanted more from him. Certainly seen that in that second half.
Albania trying to build now. Ramadani forward to Mitai, and this time the referee has given a free kick on the halfway line. Sotalo was all over his back. And that's a good foul to give away in that sort of situation. Now, more changes. Borna Sosa is coming on to replace Ivan Perisic. And another youngster, Martin Baturina, will be coming on for Croatia. Perisic has been told by the referee to head off on the far side of the pitch. Perisic and Kramaric, the two players who are going off.
Yeah, he's done well, Perisic. He's certainly helped down that left-hand side, putting the pressure on the Albanian defence. And again now, where Silvino not that long ago was trying to make substitutions for game management, it's now Dalic is doing that for Croatia.
And Kramaric, who scored the equalising goal, was well found by Budimir, and having said that Budimir doesn't score too many goals, he's made both of them.
Yes. And Kramaric, that was a massive goal, wasn't it? Just getting that equaliser, that was always going to be the hardest one. He went through the defender's legs. You could argue he should have been in a better position body-wise, but when you're under so much pressure in the way that Croatians have put the Albanians in the second half, it's easy to pick holes.
Two changes as well for Albania as they try and chase the game. Arba Hodja is one of the players who has come on along with Merlin Daku. And Ray Manai has been replaced after a fairly punishing role for him as the lone striker, and Yabir Ramadani is the other.
I think Manai's done a great job, by the way, for his team. And sometimes it's been a very, not just a lone striker, as well, a lonely one. He's had a physical battle, as you say. He's not the tallest, but he was up for it, happy to go in behind as well.
And Hodja,
given absolutely everything,
plays in Croatia for the champions Dynamo Zagreb, as Satalo has been penalised, and it's a free kick here for Albania, trailing 2-1, having led the game for well over an hour. 5 minutes to play. Kramaric and an own goal by Jasula in the space of 2.5 minutes have turned this game around and suddenly revived Croatia's challenge at this tournament. Can Albania create the one chance they need to prize a point from this game? Now Aslani playing in a slightly deeper role now. A ball over the top looking for Seferi, but Juranovic is back there to win it back, but he's conceded a throw-in, taken quickly by Seferi. Hodja by the corner flag on the far side, facing a number of familiar faces, but his ball back in field has been won back by Susic, but then Croatia have coughed up possession deep inside their own half. Here is Barami on this near side, high cross into the penalty area, glanced away as far as Seferovic on the right, and the flag has gone up belatedly for offside against Albania, and it will be a Croatian free kick with 3.5 minutes of normal time to play on TalkSport 2. And for so long it looked like being Albania's day, but Croatia have come back to lead 2-1.
Yeah, again, all about the experience of the Croatians. Albania have given their all, have given it absolutely everything. You know, did really well against Italy, but just fell a little bit short. Looks like they may well do the same here as well, but they would have learnt so much. Still 3 minutes plus injury time. There's enough time to create the chance, but can they do that?
I think there's been a yellow card shown to Zlatko Dalic, the Croatian coach. He will have gone through the full range of emotions here today. Yeti heads the ball away on the edge of the Albanian penalty area, but now Baturina fighting Susic, two of the youngsters, both 21. Kovacic takes over, back towards Modric, driving towards the edge of the penalty area. Right foot shot from him is just wide, but that was trademark Modric.
Well, it's interesting he didn't just try to keep the ball. He could see just half the gap which he went for, and at his age, so late in the game, it shows the fitness as well as the mentality of what has been a truly world-class player. He wasn't a million miles away with that shot, was he?
Well, Klaus Jasula, a former Hamburg player, has returned to this stadium and has scored the own goal, which may gift Croatia victory, although in fairness he knew absolutely nothing about it.
No.
Croatia looking to break again now with Baturina on this near side. Beyond the challenge of Barami, still going into the penalty area. Gets the shot in when he was stumbling almost on the ground right-footed, but in the end scoops it into the arms of Strakosha.
Well, I think he got fouled about 3 times in that run. He didn't go down in any of them. Perhaps he should have done. And in the end, he's had a look up at the referee. The referee, rightly so, playing on.
And Albania, a team set up to counter-attack, but that's very difficult to do when the side you're now facing are opting for the low block themselves. Rudoka does well to win it on the far side. Now Hodja down the Albanian left, comes in field, they can open out the play here. Hodja continues, what a run from him, but the shot is beaten away by Levakovic, and then it's over the top, and a penalty was called for by Albania, but Daku will be penalised for offside.
Well, Levakovic showed certainly his mental strength there and bravery. He was offside and well offside once the shot came in, but if the shot had gone into the bottom corner, then it certainly would have been allowed. Albania really are giving it their all. There's nothing more Slovenia can ask of them. Just not quite able. The 2 minutes where they weren't able to defend against Croatia. And as I say, when you come wave after wave of pressure, so difficult to hold out.
We are deep into the 90th minute. Jaisula, also the first ever substitute to score an own goal in the Euros, but I'm not sure that's a milestone he'll be happy to have by his name. But there are Albanian supporters in tears. They can't believe it's happened again. Taking the lead and losing. We're into a minimum of 5 more minutes here. And Ivica Vusic has been shown a yellow card, and he's a Croatian player who's yet to play a minute in the competition.
Just goes to show it's actually worse sitting on the bench than it is being on the pitch. When you're on the pitch, at least you have that kind of, well, coolish, calmish mindset.
He's the third choice goalkeeper, so the chances of him playing are fairly minimal.
It's been a great game now, hasn't it?
Oh, it's been fantastic, hasn't it? I mean, a real battle of wills in the second half. Levakovic now has a wadge of cotton wool shoved up his right nostril after clashing with Daku.
Yeah. He doesn't want it up his nose, but blood's just spurting out. They need to stem the flow somehow.
Well, one of their backup goalkeepers has just been booked, so the number 1 is currently receiving treatment, and I think we have gone up to a minimum of 6 minutes now.
It's unusual, isn't it, when you first of all you're given 5 and then a minute into injury time there's another ball goes up saying 6.
Well, there has been of course the injury break for Levakovic, but what an important save, and what a run that was from Hodja. That would have been a goal for the ages had that gone. Cleared downfield, flicked on by Budmir, and then guided back by Jim Citi to Strakosha. And Albania are keen to get moving again with Aslani. Back towards Jim Citi. And Albania here now enjoying the lion's share of possession, but very late in the day, and 2-1 down. Brought down well by Daku. It's wide to the far side. Hodja has done well to win it from the challenge of Juranovic, and Hodja now breaks into the penalty area, pulls it back for Safari, who's just crowded out, but he's kept the ball alive. Daku with a shot block, and the rebound is over the top, and a free kick's been given to Croatia in the end after a real flurry inside the penalty area. Gvardiol, the player who was down in apparent agony, but Albania there close to the equaliser.
Ah, so close, Albania, getting into the box, not giving up at all. And you can see how it's really brave from Gvardiol, and he does get caught in the head. I still think Daku's got to go for that. To be given a yellow card, how can he not go for that? You're 2-1 down in injury time, it's not like it's trying an overhead kick or something. He's 6 yards out in front of goal. I mean, it's brave from Guardiola, and I get the foul, but don't get the yellow card.
Merlin Daku has been shown the yellow card. And Silvino, I think, wants to make another change here. More smoke bombs have been let off by the Croatian supporters. And players from both sides are rather shrugging their shoulders at the moment. They're not quite sure what's happening. Silvino is screaming to the technical area. I think he wants to make another change, but no one's listening to him.
Well, they've only just restarted again. I wouldn't be surprised if there's another ball to come up, so in 7 minutes.
Now Hodja on the far side, looking to take on Juranovic, who makes the challenge, but Albania have the throw-in. Taken quickly, back to Aslani. Do Albania have one chance left? Aslani now plays it forward towards the far side, and Hodja has made a real difference since coming on. Down the left-hand side, 5 waiting in the penalty area. The low ball in is deflected, it comes to Joysula! And Joysula has done it! The player who scored the own goal has returned to Hamburg with the equaliser for Albania in the 95th minute. He has scored at both ends, but it's the most famous goal in Albanian football history. It should prize a point from a game which they look like winning and then losing, and now they'll draw. It's Croatia 2, Albania 2. What an extraordinary finish to this game.
What an amazing game, full stop. I'll tell you what, they looked in full control, Croatia at 2-1. But to be fair to Albania, we asked the question, can you turn the tap the other way now? Can you make sure you start creating some chances? We're just literally minutes away, 2 minutes away from the final whistle. But the Albanian side never giving up. And you know what, I'm really pleased with Joysula as well. He's come on, trying to keep the score at 1-0. Suddenly 2 minutes later, you're 2-1 down, and it's an own goal, no fault of his own. Things must have been going through his mind, but no. He's wanted to do this for his country. Getting in the right place at the right time, having the confidence, having the bottle to get in that situation that he might not score. But the connection was brilliant, and the Croatians on the floor.
2-2. And at the end of the day, we may finish with a scoreline which is about right. But we still have added time to play here. And Joysula, the former Hamburg player, has come back to this stadium and scored at both ends. And again, Hodja, the player who was involved, and they're streaming forward again now. Albania up towards the edge of the penalty area. They're looking for the winning goal now. And it's Hodja down the left. He's got support, the crossing though is blocked. Aslani is screaming for the ball. Mitai gives it to him, Aslani quickly forward to Hodja. Back towards Aslani again. Now Joysula pokes it into the penalty area. Joysula with the shot, it's blocked on the edge of the penalty area by Sosa. And here is Budimir, and Modric now can break. The game is in absolute chaos. Players down all over the field, and the referee is going to show a yellow card to somebody. I've got no idea who.
Please don't stop this game, referee. We want more.
Oh, it's Modric who was caught. I think it might have been Joysula who was shown the yellow card.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Modric has run through. Joysula's just literally not even gone for the ball.
Isn't he? Yeah.
The referee's tried to allow play to go on, but because Albania won the ball back, and rightly so, brought back yellow cards. Well, we're literally seconds away.
98th minute. Sosa now with the cross in from the far side, headed away, controlled well on the turn by Seferi. He can turn if he plays the right ball. There's an opportunity now for Daku for Albania. Slip back towards Seferi, but it's covered on the edge of the penalty area by Sosa. He then almost gives the ball away, but it's claimed by Livakovic. It's like basketball at the moment. Croatia's turn to attack now. Susic on the far side. He will come in field. He's got support from Kovacic. Kovacic now onto the left foot, drives in the shot, fumbled by Strakosha, guided away by Joysula. And it's all over. What a game. What a game. And it's a point apiece in the end. And it's the Albanians who are celebrating. Croatia look absolutely devastated. They were behind for so long, then they led. But in the 96th minute, Klaus Jasula, who scored the own goal to give Croatia the lead, scored the equaliser for Albania. And both these sides have their first point at UEFA Euro 2024.
Well, I don't know about you, Nigel, but I'm out of breath just watching. What an amazing, amazing game with an amazing atmosphere as well. And you know what? I think the way Croatia stepped it up in the second half showed the quality that they've got, but the fact that Albania just never gave up and somehow turned it around and created chances with minutes to go. I think absolutely 2-2 was fully deserved. Great credit to both sides. It's not what Croatia would have wanted. I'll tell you what.
No, they've got Italy next.
Well, that's obviously a massive game, and a game they quite simply have to win now. But for Albania, 1-0, 2-1 down, and Jasula as well, with his own goal. I can tell you now, there's a part of him that wouldn't have wanted to come on at 1-0. There's almost a no-win situation. And the fact that he scored the own goal that could have been the winning one, credit to him for getting the equaliser.
Well, let's take a look at the King performance now, thanks to Burger King.
King Performance on TalkSport 2 with Burger King. Bring home the ultimate food satisfaction with the Gourmet King's Barbecue Steakhouse Angus. Order your Burger King delivery now.
And Scott Minto, so many contenders for the player of the match on both sides.
Don't ask me, there's too many. It's so difficult to try and pinpoint one. I thought Mateo Kovacic was brilliant in the second half. Luka Modric stepped it up as well. I think Mane was brilliant up front, worked really, really hard. The two wingers also, but Hodger came on and made a big impact, didn't he? Jasula obviously as well, but I think over the whole 90 minutes, Christian Aslani, I think showed his class, why he plays for the club that he plays for, Inter Milan. I think he was brilliant. Very difficult to pick one in this particular one, but I'm going for Aslani.
And that was our King Performance pick in association with Burger King.
King Performance on TalkSport 2 with Burger King. Bring home the ultimate food satisfaction with the Gourmet King's Barbecue Steakhouse Angus. Order your Burger King delivery now.
Well, what a game in Hamburg, and it's the Albanian supporters who are celebrating. 2-2 the full-time score, an equaliser from Klaus Jasula in the closing seconds of added time after they had led for over an hour. Croatia then scoring twice in 2 minutes, the second of those an own goal from Jasula, but he had the final word, and Croatia must now face Italy on Monday, and realistically that is a game they will have to win to prolong their involvement at the European Championships. But it's a day of celebration in the end for Albania, and after their performances in the competition so far, no one will begrudge them that. Coming up next on TalkSport 2, it is live racing from Royal Ascot from Scott Minto and myself, Nigel Adderley. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Euro Game Day Live, delivered by TalkSport 2 with Burger King. Get your classic Game Day flame grilled Whopper made fresh and delivered to your door. Order your Burger King delivery now.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
On the beach, on the beach, on the beach. Booking geniuses. Get up to 5 gigs of free mobile data for your holiday when you book with On the Beach. FaceTime, Facebook, and a face full of patatas bravas. On the Beach. Book like a genius. Holiday like a fool.
Conditions and exclusions apply. ATOL protected.
On the beach. It's the event we've all been waiting for. The 30-metre vacuum is on. He's really ramping up the power. Straight around the first corner, overtaking Pepper. Oh no! He's hit a hurdle. It must be a coin. Great recovery. And now he's on the home straight. This could be a personal best. And he's done it. Incredible scenes. He really has cleaned up.
British Gas, powering home fans during this summer of sport.
You could skydive out of a plane or swim with sharks. You might even skinny dip in icy cold waters. Or you could get that inexpressible high, that guaranteed rush from finding just the thing you wanted, the thing you needed, at a great sale price. IKEA Summer Sale, now on. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
This tournament, prepare for greatness with William Hill. Get ready for last-minute winners, legendary goals, and straight red cards. Oh, what was he thinking? Win 50% more on every Scotland game this tournament with Bet Builder Extra, online or in the app, only from William Hill. Available day before match to kick-off. Bet Builders are 3+ selections at 3-1 or more. Pre-match singles, match stake £20. Full T's and C's apply. 18+, begambleaware.org.
This Euros, The Sun is bringing you all the gossip, goals and giants of the game. Get insights and analysis from Harry, should have been England manager, Redknapp, Jack, the maestro, Wilshere, Gordon, no nonsense, Strachan, and Jurgen, the winner, Klinsmann. You won't want to miss it. Don't miss out, only in The Sun.
Let's go live to hear about that winning goal.
The crowd's gone absolutely wild here. How on earth do you sum up your emotions right now?
Amazing. A hat-trick is just the best feeling ever.
Is it though? Is kicking a ball into the back of the net really better than food fulfillment from Burger King? That warm, fuzzy feeling of total food satisfaction, like finishing the last bite of a Gourmet King's barbecue steakhouse Angus.
No.
Correct. Burger King. That's food fulfillment.
Well, you can see why people are talking about Asda, can't you?
Of course, on paper, Asda have a great lineup with 2 for £20 on packs of beer like Peroni. Then there's party wear from £1, the midfield trio of bunting, face paint and flags.
And don't forget the dependable 2 for £7 on Coke 8-packs could be the difference maker. What a lineup!
Get match ready at Asda with beer and decorations on offer until the 14th of July. Asda. That's more like it. Selected stores online subject to availability. Beer packs 10 times 330ml each, not available in Scotland. Coke 330ml, £4.25 each. May exclude express and small stores. See asda.com/small stores.
Euro Game Day Live on TalkSport 2 with Carly, the UK's #1 lager. 18+, always drink responsibly.
Tretes!
UEFA Euro 2024 Germany.
Brilliant goal! Tonight from 8, uninterrupted, on location commentary of Schottland versus Switzerland.
Outstanding strike.
Sounds like summer, feels like Fußball.
On TalkSport.
On DAB+, online, via the TalkSport app, and on your smart speaker. TalkSport 2, live from Royal Ascot.
Good afternoon from Lee Mackenzie, day 2 of Royal Ascot. We start today with some of the week's top races. The day's only Group 1 this afternoon will be coming up at 4:25. That is the Prince of Wales Stakes, followed by the 29-runner Cavalry Charge over the straight bar. We love this one, the Royal Hunt Cup. And finally, a field of 25 fillies in the Kensington Palace. Lizzie Kelly and Tony McCormick join me for the build-ups and the post-race analysis. Ian Abrahams is outside the weighing room finding significant people to talk to. We have tips and the day's hot topics. Rupert Bell joins us as well to wallow in the colour and tradition of the occasion too. Well, it was a vintage first day yesterday, so let's do it again now on Racing Live, and also give you all the stories and fallout from the 3 races already run there this afternoon. It's breezy at Ascot today, sunny spells though, 21 degrees. The going is good to firm. Well, what a day it was yesterday. I think it's fair to say it exceeded expectations. It's the top flat race meeting of the year, and it was top class, as you would expect. So let's go to Lizzie Kelly now, who will be with us for the next couple of hours and find out how she thinks it's going so far. Good afternoon to you, Lizzie.
Hi, yeah, how are you, Liz?
Yeah, I'm good. It didn't let us down yesterday, did it? We expect it to be good, Royal Ascot. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, it was a fantastic day. I was there. I was on a day out, and it was good results on the track. I always think the Tuesday is the best day. It was a good day's racing yesterday.
Okay, let's bring in Tony McCormick now, who will be with us all afternoon with the stats, trends and a few tips for us. Be honest, Tony, did you make money yesterday, or was it a bit tough going?
A couple of hitting the frame, to be honest with you. A couple of shorties got us out. Certainly, Rizalian got me out, just like Illinois just got me out of the first 3 races, to be honest with you. But looking forward to today. Onwards we go. Hawaiian, after we've gone off air, I'm looking forward to in the 6:15. And this race coming up, wow. Auguste Rodin versus Inspiral. And I've got a little bit of an each-way sneak on a 20-1 shot coming up.
Yep, I think it might be worth doing that actually, because the favourite Auguste Rodin, last year's Derby winner, of course, is getting very short now, and it might be worth looking for something else. Although he is being backed as if he's expected to land that race coming up in just 20 minutes' time. Let's go to the Moose now, who's going to be standing outside the weighing room all afternoon, getting us interesting people like Oisin Murphy, for example.
Absolutely. By the way, I don't know where you got breezy from. It's absolutely gorgeous here at Ascot this afternoon. Yeah, I mean, I'll buy your 21 and probably raise you a couple of degrees. But for those who are wearing top hat and tails, which I have to say I'm not, I'm just in a normal lounge suit, it is absolutely baking. The horses are just walking past me now for our big race, which is coming up at 4:25. I can see Oisin Murphy's just quickly going over to a couple of connections, but he has said he'll come and have a quick word with us, so it's just worth me hanging on a minute. And just to tell you that in our earlier races, apart from Oisin Murphy winning, we saw an 80th winner here at Royal Ascot for Ryan Moore, which is truly phenomenal. That was in our on Illinois, and we also saw a first win for Waterman Racing for James Doyle in our opening race, the Queen Anne, this afternoon. So that was pretty impressive for him as well. I'll try and catch up with James at some point this afternoon, but just want to hang around for 2 seconds. Oisin Murphy just walking towards me now, just picking up his bottle of water. Lots of important people. Oisin, first of all, well done, a second winner.
Yeah, fantastic for David Howden and his wife and all of their family. I'm really, really over the moon for them.
1-2 for John Gosling as well.
Yeah, well, John and Thady are having a fantastic time. Isra winning yesterday, so I'm really over the moon for them.
Well, you're not riding in the next, but who's your educated guess as who might win?
I want Inspiral to win. My best friend Kieran Schumacher's riding her.
Brilliant. Cheers, Oisin. Always gives of his time there. That's one vote for Inspiral, but this is a hot race on a hot day. Live on TalkSport 2 at Royal Ascot.
It certainly is, Moose. I think he's in the Lee, I think it's called, isn't it, of the grandstand. It is a lovely day, without a doubt, but I think the Moose has found a nice, cosy, warm corner there, where for the rest of the afternoon he's going to be bringing us all the people that matter at Ascot and finding out what they've got to say. Let's, before we go to our first race of the afternoon, it's only quarter of an hour away now. Let's get the latest odds with William Hill.
In the Zone on TalkSport 2 with official betting partner William Hill. Get epic value all season with William Hill. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
And today with Alex Dunn. Good afternoon to you, Alex.
Afternoon, Lee.
You couldn't stop talking about Rosalian yesterday, could you? Bingo! As you know, I love a bookmaker who not only takes your bets, but also tells you what's going to win the race.
I'll tell you what, as well, when they turned for home, I was thinking, Sean Levy's not in the perfect position here. But goodness me, that horse has got gears.
Yeah, he goes up through them very quickly, and that's what sets him apart from most horses. I think he's a seriously good miler, so don't underestimate him. He goes from 0 to 60, doesn't he, like a Ferrari. There's a moment when you think he's not going to win, and then suddenly he's there, he's upsides, and then before you know it, he's powering clear. It was an excellent performance yesterday. Now, what about this afternoon? First one coming up, it's our Group 1 race this afternoon, Prince of Wales' Stakes, and it looks to me like Auguste Rodin for Ryan Moore, and Aidan O'Brien had his first win of the meeting earlier on. Looks as if he is strongly fancied, shall we say, to take this race this afternoon.
Yeah, 6-4 at the head of affairs. Inspiral, second in, has been pretty weak throughout the course of the day. It's 4-1 now. It's 15-2 for Alflela. Horizon Dore is an interesting runner for the French at 8-1. I know that Nick Luck is keen on that one, and certainly underfoot conditions will suit. 17-2 for Blue Rose Sen, who also makes the journey over. And the one that was backed is Lord North, the old boy, an 8-year-old here, double the age of, well, the market leader for one in this contest. Did touch 17-2 earlier, was settled at 10s, but was as big as 16s. There's money for the Gosden horse, which I thought was interesting. Well, one of the Gosden horses anyway, because Inspiral's very weak.
And question marks being asked about whether she will stay a mile and a quarter over a stiff track like Ascot as well. But I think that makes our first race this afternoon fun anyway. What about the 5:05 Royal Hunt Cup? It's anybody's guess, isn't it? But the market maybe could guide us. Have Godolphin got the favourite here? Saibin Sura, Wild Tiger.
Yeah, one of the best backed horses in the race as well, Wild Tiger, has been backed into favouritism. Oisin Murphy aboard, he gave a masterful ride to Running Lion a little earlier in the day. And look, Wild Tiger's got a chance. But unfortunately for Wild Tiger backers, so do about 15 others in the race. So we are paying 6 places each way. The money has come for Wild Tiger. If I was to chuck one into the mix, I'd go each way on Bless Him, David Simcock and Jamie Spencer. Hasn't been particularly well backed. That's me speaking as a punter more than a bookmaker. But 22s now for Bless Him. Has run 3 times in the race, finished 9th, 7th and 5th last year. You know he's going to be held up. You know he's going to come with a late burst. He's drawn right over on the stands rail. Could we see a Spencer masterclass at their big price? I'm not so sure about the win bet, but certainly with 6 places, you can do a lot worse.
Yeah, Jamie does ride the track very well. I think because it's so wide, it gives him a chance to drop the horses out like he enjoys doing. He's famous for doing it at the back of the field, and there's always, well, not always, but nearly always, plenty of room for him to make his zigzags between the other horses. Exciting to watch when it happens. What about the Kensington Palace at 5:40? Another huge field over the straight mile.
Yeah, this is tricky. Elim is favourite, 13-2 for James Spencer and Ed Bethel. Summer of Love, 8-1 for Said Bin Sarot and Christoph Sumion. Interesting match. 17-2 Aurora Dawn, Roe 17-2 with Doha. The money horse was Azahara Palace, drawn in 25. Sylvester de Souza and Huey Morrison teaming up. 10-1 now available on Azahara Palace. Was quite a bit bigger than that earlier on today. But, God, that's a fascinating race. And, I mean, just looking at jockey bookings, Mikkel Barcelona's riding for Andrew Balding. Sumion for Said Bin Sarot. Fascinating contests. And that's before we get to the form principles. So, yeah, loads and loads to talk about in that one, but the money horse was Azahara Palace.
Yep, the backup races at Ascot are good enough, aren't they, to be the feature race on a typical Saturday afternoon. And sometimes we just think, oh, it's another race, and goodness me, it's got 25 runners, it's got high-class horses in it, and it's worth an absolute fortune. What about the 6:15, the Windsor Castle Stakes? It's got some good 2-year-olds in here, maybe the ones not at this stage of their career anyway, considered quite good enough to run, say, in the Queen Mary earlier, or in the case of the Colts and Norfolk Stakes later in the week. But Shadow Army, Wattenham Racing, they went out with their checkbook, didn't they, recently? And they've definitely bought some horses for Ascot. So can James Doyle win again, this time on Shadow Army?
Yeah, 4-1 market leader and has been supported today. Of course, they had a winner earlier on the card, the owners. And that could not have been weaker in the market. That was single-figure price, out to prices in the 20s on the off. So that was a huge drifter. Shadow Army, anything but. It's been well supported. 4-1 favourite, 9-2 for Treasure Isle. Celtic Chieftain is 6-1, 13-2 for 8 Nobody. Bit of a move for Pont Neuf, horse number 16. Eve Johnson Horton and Charles Bishop. 2 from 2 so far. Was relatively unfancied at Salisbury last time out. And I remember covering that race. Was up against some nicely bred newcomers, horses that were maybe talking horses or horses that have been working well at home, but really put that experience to good use and managed to go on and score. I will say, this looks one heck of a lot tougher than that, but punters seemingly like the look of Pont Neuf, and Eve Johnson Horton is a pretty good trainer of these sort of types.
Yes, he is, not to be underestimated. And 27 runners in there. And like we said yesterday, the 2-year-old races at Ascot, they've all run in 1 or 2 races all around the country, and they all come together in the same place. And sometimes you have no idea which one's going to come out on top. But follow the market, it will help you. Alex, top stuff. Again, thank you very much for being with us. Talk to you later in the week.
Cheers, Lee.
Thank you. Alex Dunn of William Hill. All thanks to William Hill, that was. Get epic value all season with William Hill. Gamble responsibly. 18 plus only. BeGambleAware.org.
In the Zone on TalkSport 2 with official betting partner William Hill, giving you the tools for positive play. Take time to think and know your limits. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
And just a couple of tips for you later in the afternoon before we go to our first race. Templegate of the Sun, and he goes for Wild Tiger. That's his nap today in the Hunt Cup at 5:05. It's a brave man who naps one in the Hunt Cup, but Templegate's horses ran very well yesterday. Wild Tiger for him in the 5:05. And to get more tips